system is failing at every corner.
If we are serious about changing the trajectory of our country, if we are serious about restoring faith in public institutions, then we must confront an uncomfortable truth. Our criminal justice system is failing at almost every level.
EFF MP Nazir Paulson rejected the budget, accusing Ramaphosa of failing to implement a National Assembly resolution to expel the Israeli ambassador.
But that is the characterization of your leadership, one of shock and inaction, like a deer caught in the headlights.
Ramaphosa will respond to the debate this afternoon. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And more than 120,000 rand has been raised just in one day to buy Madlanga Commission Witness Warrant Officer Carl Sander a new coffee machine. The police veteran recently testified about how his coffee machine was stolen at the Hawks offices in Durban. The Back a Buddy campaign, started by Kyle van Reenen, initially had a goal of raising 5,000 rand within a month, but more than 500 individual donations blew that target within just a few hours. Tabiso Goba takes a look.
Warrant Officer Carl Sander says he has spent much of his police career in several drug units. However, in 2024, he says he was moved to desk duty after an anonymous email was sent to the Hawks accusing him of facilitating the supply of drugs in the Florida Road nightclub precinct. Till today, there's been no evidence or investigation into those claims.
My only safe space was my coffee machine, and then they stole my coffee machine inside the DPCR. Sorry, I'm laughing about it. It's still so annoying. And I had to get polygraphed because of the theft of my own coffee machine.
By the end of his testimony at the Madlanga Commission, Sander was brought to tears after he was exonerated of any wrongdoing in the stolen consignment of drugs from the Hawks offices in Port Shepstone. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,558.77 an ounce. The rand is at 16.33 to the dollar, 21.95 to the pound, 18.96 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.58 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Centurion, we've got an accident on the N14 west. This is due to an accident near the R55. Delays coming out of the Brackfontein interchange. And then traveling in Pomona, we've got roadworks taking place along the R21 south near Pomona Road. Delays from the R23.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the Johannesburg High Court will deliver judgment in the case of the man who admitted to setting a fire to the Usindiso building in Marshalltown.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
You're on 702. Good morning. 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. This is not Clement. My name is Thabo Jole Mashao. I'm thrilled to be in your company. I'm standing in the stead of Clement, who is not here today, but you and I am sure are going to have riveting discussions from now up until 12 noon, when Mandy Winner will be joining us for Midday Report. But for now, Bongani Pingwa has just said goodbye to us after a riveting show. I'm happy to be in your company, and as usual, I do not move furniture. I leave things just the way they are so that when the man comes back tomorrow, he can find his house in order. At least I hope not to collapse the entire thing before he returns. And you're going to help me to do that, right? Especially with the help of our producers here. Sinazo and Zintle. Abel is a technical producer, and you are the most important ingredient of this entire process. We do it all for you. When we spend sleepless nights thinking about topics to bring forth, it's all for you. When we do our research, chasing, story makers and everyone else, it's all for you. And we love doing it. We'll do it over and over and over and over again. It's not a favor, it's a passion that we execute with glee in our hearts. Good morning, I hope you're well. I'm wondering, where are you listening from? Mainly, are you on the road? Are you in the office? Are you at home, perhaps listening from your laptop and you've got your earphones on? Are you listening from work? Where do you usually listen from? That usually gets to me. I get so interested, and I often want to ask you where you're listening from, and I often forget to ask that. Nonetheless, it's Wednesday. I think it's the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, Abel, the 3rd of June, and it is still Youth Month. We look forward to June 16, the Youth Day saga that took place many years ago, but we still celebrate it. A couple of things today on the show that I'd like to bring forth. We kick off with an open line, right, as usual. I say this, and this may bore you, but indulge me for another 30 seconds or so, and I'll move on. It's important for, as at least my kind of radio. I love hearing from you. I love hearing honest views that are coming on radio. And I'm not a big fan of curated stuff that is all prepared. And I'm not a big fan of that kind of radio, but to each his own, right? Simply because I believe in sincerity when we are doing this thing. I want it to be honest. I want it to be genuine, because I'm not an actor paid to come and stand behind and sit behind the microphone and pretend to be something that I'm not. That's not what this business is about. It's about real engagement, discourse, discussion, and we will disagree all the time, and it's good to do so, because it means that all of us are thinking. So on the open line, I often urge you to raise things that are not necessarily in the headlines of newspapers. Perhaps radio news bulletins don't cover them. The headlines are not speaking about them, and the TV excerpts are not touching on these things. There could be these things that are happening in your circles, and you want a broader nation to understand some of the things, a broader society to get to grips with things that are concerning you within your proximity and where you frequent, the spaces that you frequent. So in the spaces that I frequent, speaking of which, and this is one of the things that I'd like to put to your thoughts this morning. I have a lot of male friends, and we are honest with each other, and I try for us to hold each other to account every now and then. And we scream, we shout, and as we have beverages and we sit around and we scream and shout and talk about a number of things. Some of the things, sadly, I can't bring on radio, but others I can, and this is one of them, and I would like us to give it a thought. There's nothing really that propels this other than that it's at the back of our minds every now and then. The question of stepfathers, right? Last night, as I was scrolling through TikTok, I came across a very interesting clip. I am saying interesting not because I agree with it, because I think it's topical and it's something that we don't want to speak about often, especially ahead of Father's Day. And it's the day that many celebrate, and fathers get cups and ties and all those sorts of stuff. And good for everyone who does that, right? So in this clip, they were asking about the role of stepfathers. Who benefits from being a stepfather? Are you a stepdad? Do you benefit from being a stepdad? Or is the real beneficiary, or are real beneficiaries the mother and child and perhaps siblings of the child that you are a stepfather to? It's a burning topic, and it's unfashionable, unpopular to speak about it, especially on radio, because all of us want to be politically correct. And Abel was saying earlier on that, Tabo, you're going to be cancelled, because at times people are not ready to receive the truth for what it is, or at least reflect on reality. So stepfathers, no doubt, play a massive role in our society. Not every single lady who's married or man who's married is a biological parent of that particular child that they're raising or children that they're raising. At times, a man comes into the space and finds that a woman has just divorced or separated with their biological father, or perhaps even in the worst case scenario, the dad died. And dating happens, and the new man enters the space and he gets to father the kids or the child. That man, what does he get from this? It's a little bit easier to understand that the woman is getting a partner and the guy is getting a partner, clearly. But the child is getting a father figure, a mentor, perhaps someone who's going to guide them through life, getting extra hands of support, right? But is it ideal? Is it the ideal way of doing things? What does the man get from this? What does the stepfather get from all of this? Or should it just be enough that he's raising the child who's not his, and that is doing God's work? It's doing country duty. It's contribution to humanity. And that fills that altruism rule, that he's not just doing it, he is also benefiting. What is he benefiting? I'd love to hear from you. Are you a stepdad? Are you appreciated? Do you at times, and honestly speaking, do you at times look at the child and think, one day he's going to grow up and he's not going to be grateful, and I will become completely irrelevant and I will be useless, as the child tries to find his true identity, tries to search for the real dad and real lineage and the real surname, and I'll become irrelevant. And he'll say, thanks, I didn't ask you to do this, but you did it. Great. Goodbye. Or not even maybe goodbye, and just ignores you and chases the love and affection from their biological dad. You'd remember that not too long ago, there was this story in the media about what happened in court. So the court dealt with a divorce dispute between a couple that had been married for 8 years. When they got married, they had 2 children from previous relationships. No children were born out of their marriage, and they formed a blended family. They were married out of community of property with accrual, and a man had not legally adopted his wife's children. The children's father is alive, active in their lives, and pays a lot of money for maintenance every month. The main issue in the divorce proceedings was whether the man, as a step parent, was obligated to continue to maintain his stepchildren after separation, after divorce. The court ordered the man to pay maintenance to the tune of 40 grand and continue covering a range of expenses, including rent kept at a certain amount, children's medical expenses not covered by his medical aid, utilities and other household costs, right? So he was also ordered to contribute a huge sum of money, $1 million towards legal costs, as well as return and as well as other things. But the real issue here was that the man was forced by the court, or obligated by the court, to still look after the step children after the divorce. Hebana. To look after the step children after the divorce. The court ordered that. Claps once. You're no longer in love with this person. These are not your children. You don't have a responsibility to them whatsoever, at least naturally. And now the court says you must look after them. Hence, now we are asking this question about stepfathers in particular. Stepmothers will do it one day. We just want to be focused, laser focused, zoom into the issues, but stepfathers in particular. We will talk about stepmothers some other day. We have this tendency of bringing everything in one pot to be politically correct. No. Today's stepfathers. We'll do stepmothers one day, right? Just stepfathers for today. So I want to hear from you if you're a stepdad. But before that, I will maybe let me just please let's play this clip that I encountered on TikTok, and then we'll chat after that.
There is no benefit in being a stepfather. But it goes deeper than that, because once a woman has got a child with a certain man.
Whoa, what did you just say, Pastor? There's no benefit
benefit in being a stepfather.
No, Mary, you can't say that.
There's no benefit in being... Okay, give me one thing that you'll benefit for being a stepfather. As a man, what do you benefit for raising another man's child? What do you benefit?
Being a present father to that child, because obviously the father is absent.
What do you benefit? She benefits. What do you benefit as a man? I said a man, there is no benefit for a man in being a stepfather. He benefits nothing.
Yeah, so that's what I'd like us to talk about on the open line. Feel free to give us a call on 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702. It could be that you're a stepfather, you want to give us a different perspective. It could be that you were a stepfather and you had a different perspective from all of this. Let us know. And Kenny Kunene is in the news again, and it's not good news. Kenny Kunene made some interesting remarks as he was inspecting roads, as the MEC of Roads and Public Infrastructure. He was complaining about how illegal miners have damaged the roads. So during the visit, he used offensive language to describe undocumented migrants as rats, rats, who needed to be poisoned with Retex, and called for the South African National Defence Force to use lethal force against them. I don't think this language is helping at all, especially if you're a leader of society. And I know Kenny listens to this show every now and then. Maybe he will call, and I hope he does. I don't think this language helps at all. We already know the problems that we have. And for a leader to say something like this, I mean, we saw what happened in Rwanda. Do we want to fuel the anger of people and exploit the current climate for political benefit by further dividing a people who are battling? And a huge chunk of that cohort would be poor people fighting poor people. And we are dividing them further with this sort of language. I don't think this is leadership at all. I don't. But maybe you see it differently. Feel free to call in. And then at 10 o'clock, we're in conversation with State Information Technology Agency. It's known as SITA. The new Managing Director, Mahato Mello, will be in studio with us. We want to ask them some interesting questions, because you'd remember that the SITA was established to centralize government ICT procurement and services. So if Home Affairs has got an ICT issue, they can't go out and procure it themselves. They would need to go through SITA. Is it doing a good job? There have been so many news about the SITA. But what is the entity all about? What is it? What's its purpose? We'll venture into that between 10 and 11 o'clock. And the sharing space will come in a little bit later on. But at just after 11 o'clock, listener's choice. Visas, how do they work? Helman Kelele and the head of security at SAFA for Bafana received their visas, I think, yesterday. They're on their way to the U.S. to prepare Bafana. A lot of people are asking about visas. It's a tedious process. When you're applying for a visa, tedious. The agencies charge you this. The embassy wants this. They want to know what is it that you do, your bank account, all of that. Visas will come under the spotlight. Ladies and gentlemen, 7:02 Land. It's 23 after 9. Abel, the show has officially begun.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
Good morning, Tabo. Tabo, I believe that as a stepfather or a partner to somebody who has children, you should play the role of being a dad, irregardless of what. Because at the end of the day, we are raising the nation. We want a better society. So if I don't become that, then that means, for real, I'm not a good father. Thank you, Paolo and Orange Farm.
Good morning, Tabo. I would like to stay anonymous. As someone who had a stepfather, and as a person who has grown as well, the reality is it's the child and the mother in that relationship that actually benefits from the stepfather. It's very few cases where the stepfather can actually truly benefit and feel really appreciated. But for me, from my experience, it's being a stepdad. It's honorable and all, but honestly, it's not something that benefits you as a stepdad or a dad in that specific family. So
Yeah, so I'd love to know from you. 011-883-0702. Let me not waste too much of your time and go straight to the calls that I have requested. Is it Emmanuel first on the line? It's definitely Emmanuel from Alberton. Emmanuel, morning. Hi, welcome.
Morning, team, and how are you?
Shapu Z, bro.
Man. Look, I'm a stepdad to a 21-year-old. The main reason being stepdad is not about it's not transactional, It's being there for a child. This child the father is there, but is not present in terms of what the child is doing day to day. But I'm there as a mentor because later on, someone is going to benefit. I'm grooming him as a child, but he's going to be a man. And he's looking up to me every time when we do dishes in the house, how I do things in the house. I'm actually guiding him to be a better man because sometimes when we grow up, I grew up without a father. And at times I just do things thinking this is the right way. But later on I find that actually I fumbled. But that's the way of learning being a father.
Sure.
But at least for a child to grow up seeing someone waking up, seeing me making coffee for his mother, it's something that one day when he grows up, he's going to treat his wife the same way that I'm treating his mother. Because
Emmanuel, 1 second. Apologies to interrupt you, my brother. 1 second. Do you have kids of your own, biological kids of your own?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what relationship do they have with your stepkids or stepchild?
They do have a good relationship.
Okay.
They do have a good relationship. Yeah.
Okay. No. And the intention of this, Emmanuel, is not to insult anyone or to look down upon anyone who's a stepfather or to venerate anyone who's a stepfather. The real intention really is to get the conversation going. Emmanuel, you're a guy. Amongst guys, we speak about these things. And you'd find some guys who are saying, I'll never be a stepfather. Hey, this doesn't work. And I'm happy to hear you depositing a different perspective from experience. And does the child respect you? What's your relationship with the child, if you don't mind sharing with us?
The child respects me a lot, and you won't believe, Timan, I taught him how to drive from zero. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I want you to be a better person. We want to send you to the shop. And we don't want to drive you around at night saying you're going to a graduation. No. And trust me, there was a time, actually I was at work, and he phoned me and be like, you know what, I'm grateful for what you did for me. I finally got my license. And I was like, good. Someone is going to look up to you one day.
Listen, if I was the Pope, I was going to canonize you, and I would have a church called Saint Emmanuel. Just after, because you are a great individual. Only a few guys can be that way. I even doubt if I can go as far as that. For me, it's always been a battle, and I'm being honest. I don't want to be popular for wrong things and for lying. I'll be honest. For me, I think it's a hill to climb. I would battle, and it's not something that I would want for myself. But please feel free to share with us. 011-883-0702. Do we go to Mogele? Is it Mogele or Mogele? Morning.
Mogele, brother.
Mogele, my brother. Morning.
Listen, man, I'm a bit, taken aback by the question. I'm a father myself, not a stepfather, a father to two biological kids. But I'm trying to understand the question to say, what is it that you want to be benefiting? I think about my kids, and I think about my relationship with my own father, which is a very good relationship. He's never wanted to benefit anything out of me. I don't want to benefit out of my kids. So this question to say who benefits, why as a father, any father, whether biological or not, do you want to be benefiting out of your kids? I think it's fulfillment that as parents we draw out of seeing our kids achieving certain things, whether or not they are biological. For me, it's neither here or nor there.
No, but that's the benefit,
if that individual is successful, I'm able to raise an adult who positively contributes to society. My job is done. I don't understand.
Yeah, but allow me to jump in quickly before the news. I get the gist of what you're saying. I'm saying that's the benefit. That fulfillment is the benefit. And we are not saying the fulfillment is not the benefit. So there's no need to be defensive. If you feel that the benefit is you being fulfilled, hold on, bro. Can I just finish, Mokhele? No, bro, let me finish. Let me finish. But let me finish first. Mokhele, allow me to finish. Be tolerant. Don't tell me what to say. You can't tell me what to say. You can't tell me. I'll have to finish, Mokhele. Okay. Tolerate other views even if you don't like them. Then after that you can listen, you are still going on. No, but you are still, you'll correct me when I'm done. Why are you so I will be, but why are you so intolerant? But nah, you can't give me a second. I've given you a chance to speak. If you disagree with me, you will say it when I'm done. Is that too much to ask for? You will you will correct me when I'm done. That's a discussion. Yes, you're still continuing it. No, you will tell me that when I'm done, when you've had everything. Then you can say, Thabo, I didn't say that. You are misrepresenting me. Hold on, Mokhele. I'll come back after the news headlines. I'm late with a minute. 29 minutes to 10 o'clock. Sfiso Zulu standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Welcome. Good morning, Sfiso.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Commander of Durban's Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit, Gavin Jacobs, will appear at the Madlanga Commission today. The unit is attached to the Hawks, with its work also involving the investigation and dismantling of drug trafficking networks in the coastal city. Jacobs has been mentioned many times by previous witnesses in relation to the stolen cocaine from the Hawks storage facility in Port Shepstone. Judgment in the bail application of SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Fani Nkosi is expected to be handed down today. Nkosi approached the Pretoria High Court to set aside a ruling by the lower court where he was denied bail. His charges relate to more than 50,000 rand found at his home and more than 300,000 rand allegedly flowing through his bank accounts. And the only airport providing humanitarian organizations access to the epicenter of an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has reopened. The country of 100 million people declared last month that it was battling a major epidemic of the highly contagious fever, prompting the World Health Organization to issue an international health alert. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus traveled to the epicenter of the outbreak on Saturday and spoke to Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi on Monday. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
While travelling on the N14 West, we still have got that accident near the R55 causing delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South. This is between Samrand Avenue and Olifantsfontein Road. While heading towards the Kempton Park or Tambo Airport, do expect delays on the R21 South approaching Atlas Road. There's roadworks there. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 West. This is between the Edenville Road exit and the Kilulis interchange. Otherwise, on the M1 South, we've got delays between Grayston Drive and Corlett Drive. There's also some delays reported in four ways along Winnie Mandela Drive between Leslie and Witkoppen Road. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Solve exciting riddles and unravel a web of suspense and adventure with Hollywood Bets and Spinnazonke Mystery Parcel. You stand a chance to win a share of 1 million rand in cash and bonus bets. Start your quest and bet 2 rand or more on selected Playtech slots every Wednesday between 2:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and Sunday from 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. What scintillating secret will your parcel reveal? Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today, it's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Not every change feels like a choice. Some arrive as disruption. Shift Happens with Richard Sutton is a podcast about those moments where life moves first and you have to catch up. When certainty disappears, direction blurs, and everything familiar starts to shift. You'll hear stories from people who faced change, doubt, and pressure and found a way forward. Their stories give us confidence. Living vicariously through their experience gives us hope, and we learn from their journeys. Because what feels like an ending is often the beginning of something else. Shift Happens weekly on PrimeMediaPlus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Powered by First Light, therapeutics for the modern mind.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Tabo in for Clement, 24 minutes to 10 o'clock. It's still the open line, and we asked about stepfathers. What do you get from being a stepfather? And if you're a stepfather, share with us your experiences. Is it a one-way beneficial road, or is it a mutually beneficial relationship amongst those who are concerned in this? Earlier on, we had a chat with Mogele before the news headlines with Siso. And the point that I was trying to make, Mogele, is that fulfillment does count as a benefit because it fills a certain satisfaction within you, psychologically, emotionally, and otherwise as well. So if you're saying fulfillment, so that's the benefit as well. So that's all that I was saying about it. 20 seconds, Mogele, and then we finish.
I just still feel that the question is very misplaced, especially in a country where we have an issue with fatherlessness. We should be celebrating guys that are stepping up, and kudos to everybody really that is stepping up.
Okay.
There are issues obviously.
All right,
with
thanks,
relations.
Mogele. Thank you so much. I did give you a lot of time before this. Thank you so much. Okay, but that's Mogele's view. Let's take who's next. 011-883-0702. Is it Gwena? Yeah, I think Gwena has been holding the longest. I'm trying to check who's been holding the longest so that I'm fair on everyone else. Gwena in Pretoria. Morning.
Hi, Tabo. How are you?
I'm free, Gwena. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, my brother. Firstly, let me start by complimenting you for always being available for Clement.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, don't batter me up before a heated argument. You are just softening me up. Ne? No, go ahead, my brother. What do you have to say?
Let me get into it. My brother. I'm a 34-year-old man, and then I don't have any child of my own.
Yeah.
And I told myself that I cannot afford to be a stepfather, my brother. Firstly, let me start by saying I am concerned with how kids of nowadays are so disrespectful, my brother. Yes, that's one thing that scares me the most. I'm gonna give you an example. We have a sister in our family who has 2 kids from different fathers, right?
Yeah.
So this first one is so naughty. At a certain point in time, they were arguing, having some argument, and then he went to a point of telling his younger brother that you are not even my father's child. You see, so these are the kind of things that I am concerned about. So imagine when the child gets older and then being raised by a stepfather. You see, so those are some of the things that I'm concerned about.
Gwena, thanks very much for that contribution. Really appreciate it. 011-883-0702. Beagani, is giving us a shout from Rodiport. Bekani, is that your name, my brother? Is it Biakani? Am I saying it properly?
No, that's fine. It's correct. Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead.
I agree with Michael. The topic is distasteful. Shouldn't even start.
But you can't say it shouldn't start. In a democratic era, the lines are open for everyone to deposit their views, but you can't say it shouldn't start. You can't be a gatekeeper. You can't be a gatekeeper of conversations in South Africa.
You've not allowed me to speak I'm saying substantiate on my view.
Yeah, hold on.
Now criticizing my
hold
view.
on. I'm not criticizing your view. I'm saying don't be a gatekeeper of conversations. That is not democratic. Your view.
Allow me to finish. Then comment.
Yeah, sure. Your
the
view.
Same thing you asked from
yes.
The same thing you asked from.
Allow me to finish, Bekani. I'm saying you can't be a gatekeeper. You can't tell us what not to talk about. That is undemocratic. Deposit your views without telling us what not to talk about. You sound like an apartheid state where you censor media, what to talk about and what not to talk about. Give us your view. If you disagree and you disagree, but you can't tell us what not to talk about. The floor is yours, Bekani.
Allow me to give you my view.
Yes.
We were raised by a community in a communal setup. Every child in the community was my child.
Where were you raised?
Irrespective of who the parent is. If today we're going to start talking about a stepfather and a stepmother and a step what and a step what, and we seek a benefit out of being a parent, it is very unfortunate. Parenting should not come with a benefit. It is a responsibility. It should not be a benefit. That is why I'm saying the topic is misguided. Parenting it should not be beneficial. It's a responsibility.
You've said that twice. You've said that twice already. Can I say something?
Now,
you've repeated the same point twice. Can I say something?
Can I just finish? Can I just finish off?
Go ahead.
Can I just finish off then?
I've said yes.
Now you can talk, Thabo.
Yeah, I've said yes. No, but you've repeated stuff. So I said, can I talk? You said you just want to finish. I say yes.
No,
but you are saying, can I just finish? No, it's not impatience.
More than that.
Okay, here's what I was saying to you, Bekani. Where were you raised? You're refusing to answer that question. Where were you raised and how old are you? It matters. It matters. It matters.
Why does it matter?
No. Why don't you tell us if it doesn't? You let me tell you why it matters. No, let me. Yeah. You see, if you're raised in Rodiport, like you're staying in Rodiport, there's no way. You see, when we say a child belongs to a community, we all know that is not 100% correct. That's why we have children who go to school hungry, without food, without good shoes, without uniform. Where's the community? That's why we have children who are raped and abused. Where's that community? Let's not lie. That's a nice thing to say on radio, that the child is raised by a community. The community is not there. The child is often a product of their parents and the guardians, and who often battle to raise their child. It's not the community that raises a child. It's a nice thing to say so that we seem, unity amongst us. There's no unity amongst us. 011-883-0702. Zandi in Wattville.
Hi, Thabo. How are you?
Okay, I'm free. Zandi, how are you?
Hi, I'm coming off a tail end of a very heated now conversation, and I'm picking up from what you were just having, the conversation we were having with Bekane, that it's now, disintegrated to include community, as a large form of how children are raised. But I'll start with my point. And I wanted to say, I feel that parenting, especially the role of a step-parent, has been commodified in such a way that people now want to derive some sort of benefit from raising a child, not taking into account the fact that you made the choice. You approached somebody who obviously at the time you don't know that they have a child, but you put yourself in that situation of being a step-parent. And then now we look at the reason why the court made that judgment. The court at any given moment is always looking at the best interest of the child. And I feel that if we engage in such conversations, we need to understand what the posture of the court is at all material times. The best interest of the child. When things are nice with you and the step-parent, you do for the children. And the first people to be disadvantaged when there is a squabble now, in the relationship are the children. And the role of the court is to protect the children, because as you said in the beginning when you were introducing the topic, you no longer love this woman. So because now you no longer love this woman, the children who you were raising for X amount of years and you were doing all these things that they've now become accustomed to, you will no longer do because you've stopped loving this woman. The psychological impact that it has on these children affects them, and the role of the court is to protect the children.
Yeah, you've said that again, and let me jump in without interrupting you. Zandi, then let's go with your logic, right? I am seeing Zandi, and the court says, Thabo, you must look after Zandi's kids. Thabo has got 4 kids of his own, and Zandi's child has got the father who's present. By the way, in this matter, the father is present in the lives of of that kid, very much alive and participating in the life of a child. Thabo has got his 4 kids, and Zandi has got 2 kids. Thabo is looking after them. The court compels me. Yes, it's in the interest of the child, even though the father is also there. Then I go on to date Zintle. I date Zintle. I find Zintle with 3 kids. I look after them as well. I try to help where I try to help. And then as relationships would have it, you know this very well, Zandi, I break up with Zintle and I now have to look after those kids again. I mean, the burden now is on me to be Father Abraham to the entire world, just because it's in the interest of the child. And I'm saying we have to draw a line somewhere, especially when the father is present. Especially when the biological father is present. Zandi, I'm listening to you. I'm going to say goodbye after your comment.
Okay, no, what I wanted to say is there are merits to a case. So I think what we then fail to appreciate is that the scenario that you are making an example of, the court will consider that. Before a court arrives at a decision, right, it would have taken everything into account. So if the father, the biological father, is there and is contributing substantially financially, there's no reason for a court then to place such a hefty burden on the stepfather. Do you understand? The merits of a case always play a great deal.
No, I hear that.
What the court decides. Yes.
Yeah, you would also agree with me that a different court would come to a different conclusion.
Taking into account
all of that.
Yes.
All of that.
Yes.
What the lower court has taken into account, clearly the higher court would take that into account, and it may come to a different conclusion.
I mean, if then it is proven that the
but is it true or not, my dear Zandi? Don't run away from the issue. Is it true?
No, I'm not running away from the issue. And I'm trying to answer a question. If the merits of a case show that the stepfather was the one who was more financially sound over the biological father, the court is going to apportion.
You are predetermining, and that's not the question I'm asking, Zandi. I'm saying same facts, same issues in front of the court. A higher court can come to a different conclusion, as we've seen a million times before. Not on this matter, but also on other matters. That's why we have higher courts. That's why we have the appeal courts. That's why, because at times the court can err. And then a higher court can come to a different conclusion. So it's never happened that a higher court...
I'm speaking as someone who's in the justice system.
No, I know.
My experience and reality...
I have seen a higher court come into a different conclusion. So that doesn't happen, Zandi. Okay. Zandi, you see, being that defensive, that is a problem. This issue has touched people in their studios. I don't believe it. 13 minutes to 10.
As winter settles across South Africa, more families are struggling to maintain food security. Rising fuel costs and high food prices are placing enormous pressure on vulnerable households. Food Forward SA needs your help. Every contribution you make helps provide meals to communities facing hunger and hardship this winter. At just 47 cents a meal, your 50 Rand donation can provide 100 meals. Visit foodforwardsa.org, click donate, and make your contribution today.
702 Josie, my Josie, Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people on Sunday, 26 July. Babize bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 8-kilometer 44 Main Street route takes you from Ellis Park through Maboneng and Jewel City. past the Field of Dreams and Maharishi Invisibility Institute. You then go through Main Street Precinct, Gandhi Square, and past Carlton Center, finishing off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on 8 kilometer, 5 kilometer, or 15 kilometer, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
We only have 11 minutes left, so I'm just going to take as many calls as possible. So you are in 4 ways. Please keep it brief because we have tons and tons of callers. 4 ways, so good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I'll try and keep it brief. Thabo, we're not removing the reality that being a stepfather comes with its own challenges, right? And to be honest, I feel like a man who sees a future with you is going to ask, or actually, be open about how do they build a relationship with the child? What role would they have in that child's life, and how he can support you both. And a man who's hesitant about being in that dynamic is going to ask questions like, what's the benefit for me? What do I get out of it? And the first set of questions is coming from commitment. And I think the second is coming from calculation.
Sure.
So I think that really is my observation of that. And,
I agree with you, by the way, Koketso. I agree with you 100%, because if you're committed to someone, you would somehow not see that as a burden, but as a responsibility. But even if you see it as a responsibility, there's a chance that down the line, that child can turn against you. And that child, not even in a nasty way, not in a violent way, not in a bad way, in a way that perhaps touches you negatively, the child may pursue Abel and seek his real father. And whilst doing that, give Abel all the attention, and you would feel somehow inferior having contributed so much, because altruism is a real issue. And we do things for a reason, whether we admit to it or not. Kokezo, last bite?
Yes. Look, you know what? We've thrown around different scenarios, and I don't think the question is whether biological parents are there or not. I think, the question is, does this relationship have room? So does this unit have room for both the biological father and the stepfather in the child's life? And I mean, you cannot preempt the outcome.
Yeah.
The same child that you have birthed can also turn against you. So you're either a caring person,
Sure.
you want to contribute.
Koketso, I have to go. 011-883-0702. After Koketso, it was Tiwa Yinkosi. Tiwa Yinkosi, morning.
Yes, how is it?
Hey, good man. The floor is yours. Jump to it.
I will try to be short.
Yeah.
Although I'm not good in English.
Relax. You are talking to me. Relax.
Okay. This thing of being stepfather, it's on my view, it's against the nature. Because when you let somebody in the earth, you have to raise them. Unless the one who is accountable is passed away. You can't to let your child to raise by someone. It's against the nature.
Got you there, Tiwa Inkosi. Appreciate it. Thanks for Ngedisi in Lenthurst. Hi, Ngedisi.
Hi, Thabo. I'll be very short and I'll listen to your response on the radio.
Sure.
I think, Thabo, I disagree with you.
Sure.
And like you said, democratically, I think to say what is the benefit to the men, I think it's a very unfair question, because even our own kids, what is the benefit? Because I'm starting to see, when you say fulfillment, I can get fulfillment from raising a stepchild. And in other instances, that stepchild could be the brother or sister to my kids. Remember, I've got this partner now with a child. Maybe I also have children with that partner. They are now all brothers. So I would raise them because, I mean, I would never ask what benefit, because even from my kids, what benefit do I get? Thank you, Thabo.
Yeah, thank you so much. Ntisi, with your kids, you brought them to this world. You have no choice, bro. Whether you benefit or not, you invited them. You went, applied, and successfully so, they were delivered to your doorstep. The other one, you didn't. You didn't. 011-883-0702. Tsepiso in Centurion. Hi, Tsepiso.
Yes, Thabo. So I fully disagree with the judgment of the stepfather being compelled to support his stepkids. Because actually they are supposed to go after the father to actually support their kids, not the stepfather. And I think as a result of that, we have this predicament and this discussion now to see what are the benefits of being a stepfather. By the way, I don't believe that there should be benefits in being a stepfather. But that as it may, one of the benefits that I see is the fact that you will be in a harmonious relationship with the partner who's the mother of those kids. Because if you reject the kids or you don't want to be supportive of the kids, would you be in a harmonious relationship with the mother of those kids? I doubt. But over and
Okay, thank you, my brother Tsepi. So sadly, I have to leave it at that because there is just so many other voice notes to go through. Abel, the voice notes on 072-702-1702, and I've been neglecting some of your text message. Let me read one quickly. Good day, Thabo Shalemashal. An illegal person coming into our country start engaging in illegal activities. How then does such actions get justified? And this is responding to Kenny Kunene's recent comments. 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Thabo. I'm so disgusted by what Kenny Kunene has said. He's so sensitive. He doesn't want people to refer to him as ex-convict, but he insults people. That's so disappointing and disgusting from a leader of a political party. Thank you so much, Thabo. It's Jabulisile from Midrand. Very, very disgusting.
Good morning, Thabo. This is Sam. You need to stop confusing undocumented foreigners with what had happened in Rwanda in 1993. In Rwanda, what had happened, it was ethnic cleansing. Innocent people were targeted. Undocumented foreigners are criminals because they are here illegally. On papers, they are in a country illegally. They are undocumented. That's a crime. So what Ken Kunene had said, sure, it might incite it might incite violence, but the reality is that undocumented foreigners are not innocent people. What happened in Rwanda and what Kenny Kunene said, that's two different things. If people want to be treated humanly in our country, they need to be here legally and respect our country's laws.
Let's walk the talk.
702. Hi, 702 landers. Just as a comment, it is this we need in this country. We need father figures who are going to play a certain role in these young kids' lives, especially boys. So I always take my head out for someone who can be a stepfather if you are given. And I always want to say to other guys, if you are, or ladies as well, if you are afforded that opportunity to play a father parent, a step parent to a child, please do it 100%, own it, because you are doing South Africa a great favor. We're missing, we really lack good father figures and good role models in this country. Thank you. We are from Boksburg.
Sure, Thabo. It's a controversial one this morning, but I understand the question. I'd like to remain anonymous. I understand the question. I'm a stepdad to kids, and I have my kids as well. And the tricky part is that you're a great dad when you do things for your stepkids, and then they revert back to knowing who their dad is whenever you try to enforce discipline in one way or the other. On the other hand, with my own kids, I get fulfillment, I get appreciated, and that's what I need from my stepkids, and that's what I am missing right now. So the journey of being a stepdad is not that easy, I can say. Yeah, Anonymous.
If your rent was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance save 27-year-old Lynn a mind-blowing 638 rands on her 2025 Aval Jolian. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can save you money, ask for 500 rands or 1,500 rand if you've been claim free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Why wait? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Winter Symphony Season, featuring masterpieces by Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and more, is sure to exhilarate music lovers. Concerts take place on Thursday evenings from 4 to 25 June at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets available at Quicket.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about. With this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution, we are calling on small businesses that turned real changes into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 rands in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Gauteng police are searching for people responsible for the murder of a teenage boy in Bramfisherville. The 18-year-old was attacked with a panga yesterday. Police say the boy was a pupil at a secondary school in Meadowlands who had earlier in the day visited his friend in Bramfisherville. The boys then went to another school in the area where the 18-year-old was assaulted by unknown attackers. The police's Tinswalo Sibego.
The victim sustained severe injuries and was transported to a local clinic in a private vehicle for medical treatment. He later succumbed to his injuries. The motive for the attack remains unknown at this stage. No arrests have been made and investigations are ongoing.
The commander of Durban's Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit, Gavin Jacobs, is appearing at the Matlanga Commission today. His unit is attached to the Hawks, with its work also involving the investigation and dismantling of drug trafficking networks in the coastal city. Jacobs has been mentioned several times by previous witnesses in relation to stolen cocaine from the Hawks' storage facility that was in Port Shepstone in 2021. 541 kilograms of cocaine was stolen, which had been confiscated a few months earlier during a break-in. Judgment in the bail application of SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Fani Nkosi is expected to be handed down today. Nkosi approached the High Court in Pretoria to set aside a ruling by a lower court where he was denied bail. His charges relate to more than 50,000 rand found at his home and more than 300,000 rand allegedly flowing through his bank accounts. Nkosi is also accused of stealing and hiding police dockets. The lower court turned down his bail in April, saying his release could jeopardize an investigation against him. Dimakatso Leshuro reports.
Fani Nkosi has spent 2 months behind bars and could be facing more jail time if the Pretoria High Court agrees with the lower court that he should not be released on bail. The disgraced Organised Crime Unit member, currently on suspension, was allegedly found in possession of explosives, failing to safeguard firearms and ammunition. Nkosi was also found with more than 50,000 rand hidden under a mattress that he could not explain. In addition, plans are afoot to incorporate theft, fraud, as well as defeating the ends of justice charges stemming from a case in Limpopo where the state is alleging that Nkosi impersonated a head office official to allegedly remove and confiscate data and a case docket. Given the serious nature of the charges, the onus rests on him to persuade the court that it is in the interest of justice to permit his release on bail. Timakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
The trial into the murder of ANC politician Sindiso Makaqwa will return to the Pietermaritzburg High Court this morning. A group of hitmen opened fire on Makaqwa and his colleagues in 2017. One of the gunmen, Spusiso Ngengwa, has been convicted and sentenced after pleading guilty to the attack. 3 men, including Makaqwa's colleague, former municipal manager Stanley Skosana, will return to the dock this morning. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
During the previous court appearance last month, the lawyer for accused number 3, Stanley Skosana, could not proceed with the matter due to outstanding issues. This included the need to first brief counsel on the matter due to Skosana having made changes to his legal representation. Though this caused yet another delay in the long-standing trial, the state and defense agreed it was in the interest of justice. But Judge Mluleki Chiti warned he will not allow any further delays.
When the judges are allocated, we are told you have fired attorneys.
Chiti says the delays are unfair to the witnesses.
We are told that there are witnesses here who are in the witness protection program. That is exacting on the taxpayers. It's them who have to foot that bill.
Today, the court will hear feedback on the issue of Skosana's legal representation. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Pietermaritzburg.
And the only airport providing humanitarian organizations access to the epicenter of an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has reopened. The country of 100 million people declared last month that it was battling a major epidemic of the highly contagious fever, prompting the World Health Organization to issue an international health alert. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus traveled to the epicenter of the outbreak on Saturday and spoke to Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi earlier this week. Out of 321 confirmed cases of infection, 48 deaths have been recorded, according to Congolese health authorities and the WHO. And yesterday, the WHO reported that the number of suspected cases had actually declined to 116 from 906 just last week. Meanwhile, in Kenya, protesters in the capital Nairobi demonstrated against the creation of an Ebola quarantine center that is only designated to U.S. nationals who are arriving from the DRC.
Today we went to the Afia House, the Ministry of Health, to present a petition informing them that they should decline the request by the American government to allow them to set a quarantine facility in this country.
Gold is trading at $4,458.77 an ounce. The rand is at 16.33 to the dollar, 21.95 to the pound, 18.96 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.58 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident scene reported on the N1 South. That's in the city of Tshwane, right near John Forster Drive. It's already causing delays. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 West. This is just as you head towards Bedford View. Delays between Edenville Road and the Glulies interchange due to roadworks.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Gauteng police are searching for people responsible for the murder of a teenage boy in Bramfisherville.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie, walk the talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 10 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. You're on 702. Always great spending time with you. I really mean it when I say that, even if we disagree, argue. To me, it's never personal, as I always say. We will disagree, and that's just how discourse is, and that's how we grow. We show each other perspective. In the previous hour, if you've just joined us, we were chatting about stepfathers, the role of stepfathers, but generally, what do you benefit from being a stepfather? The people are saying you shouldn't be benefiting anything anyway. You are doing the right thing for humanity and the country. Other people are saying, listen, it's a thankless job. And we continue debating these issues. I raise them because we speak about them as men in our corners, in our water holes, in around water coolers, in offices, boardrooms, bedrooms, wherever. We talk about these things. And we need to bring these discussions on a public platform to engage each other and persuade one another. So it's very necessary to do that. And I'm not about to shy away from those very heated discussions. Not at all. As long as I have an opportunity to, I'll raise them because they must benefit us. And I'm hoping you see it in the very same way. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. I'm always thrilled to be in your company. In this hour, we will be looking at the State Information Technology Agency. It's known as SITA with an I this time around. And they have recently appointed the new managing director who's sitting in front of me. We will want to understand a little bit about this agency, its importance in our democracy, but generally its functionality in government. What does it do? It's been in the news of recent and in the past for various other malfeasance, good work, bad work here and there. So we want to understand it better. And the more we understand how our agencies work, the more effective we can be as participants in our democracy. 10 minutes after 10.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Mr. Makgatho Mello is State Information Technology Agency Managing Director. He was appointed recently. It was effective 1st April 2026. And he is here with us just to give us a deep dive into this agency. And Tate Makgatho, thank you so much for your time. Makgatho Mello, thanks for your time here on 702. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Thabo.
It's been a couple of months now. How are the feet under the new desk?
Settling in well.
Yeah.
The team has been great. We had an interim board that just finished its term on Sunday.
Oh.
And the board was very good, very magnanimous in helping me settle in. So it's been good. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe let's start right at the beginning. And I'm saying this in the interest of working step by step with our listeners, but generally with South Africans about the role of SITA. I'm going to ask you to explain to me what is SITA, what is SITA's role in a way that a 10-year-old will understand it, even if they may not necessarily be interested in it as now. Yeah.
SITA is the state IT agency, and I'm emphasizing the state IT agencies because we have the other SITAs that are in the education space. We exist to enable IT services for government. By enable, we covers the entire spectrum from network services that service government departments. It includes the application, a lot of the application software applications that agencies of government and government departments use are often procured by SITA, and the maintenance of those applications is done by SITA. And then SITA enables that for different government departments, and that varies from a range of things. For example, SITA operates the mainframe where a lot of the HR systems of government, the payroll of government runs on those systems. So SITA does that. We provide the facilities where those applications do the IT infrastructure, the network that makes those systems accessible. SITA does that.
So is it a centralized role of procurement for any government ICT needs?
That is what the mandate of SITA is. And for the most part, it does that, although there is a significant amount where departments will procure themselves for a variety of reasons. But that is primarily the role of SITA, and that's why SITA exists.
It seems like a very important role, especially in the digital era. And I'm wondering to what extent are you advancing or reading the signs of times as CETA in this instance in order to assist government to be relevant to the age that we are in right now. And now we're even talking AI and many other things. So I wanted to find out from you, how, comparatively speaking, if we were to compare ourselves with other countries, not necessarily confined to the developing nations, but how competitive are we, and how advanced or backwards are we as far as our ICT in government?
We do some things that are quite compelling, but we do have a lot of catching up to do in a lot of areas. When looking at emerging markets, a reference country, as I go through and I look at trends around the world, India has done some great work in terms of digital identity and payments for government services. We're still lagging a little bit on those areas. But in some things, we've digitized some things that you would take for granted. In the indigent housing registers, that was an issue. We're working on that. Looking at we're doing some work in terms of doing certain functional things that government departments would require. Metric results. We manage the systems for that. We are now we work with the Department of Higher Education when in the processes for qualifications. So we do, and we serve the South African Police Services significantly in that. So there's a lot of things that are, you would call them mandate systems that help government operate that we do. Are we on the bleeding edge of where government is? Well, and generally government wouldn't be on the bleeding edge as a whole. No, we are lagging in some areas. In the last couple of years, we've fallen behind in certain things. It's taking us a little bit longer to procure. It's taking us a little bit longer to execute on systems, and we have to sharpen how we do those things.
I'm just touching initially on the rudimentary elements of our discussion. We'll get to the politics of the entity internally and otherwise, but I just wanted for us to establish the basis first and the elementary concepts of CETA first. I mean, it's interesting that you've mentioned the police as an example right now. The Minister of Justice of recent, I think it was 2 weeks ago, she was decrying the fact that police dockets are not digitized. And this is something that ought to have been done. The conversations were going on in 1996. I think Dula Omar was the Minister of Justice at the time when those discussions were going on. I could be wrong. But that on its own seems like a very critical issue. An ordinary person, given what's happening in Madlanga Commission, in the media, playing itself out on issues of corruption and this, that, and the other in the criminal justice system, one would wonder, why would it take so long to digitize something as minute as dockets with the police in order to stop or hinder police doing a raid on someone's house and they find a pile of dockets still there, as we've seen of recent?
Yes. So on face value, it does seem like a mundane thing, but you have to put certain building blocks in place. You have to make sure that there's universal access to that information. You have to make sure that there's security of both the data and access to that information. There's consistency. You have to build the network layer and the redundancy of systems to do that. Now, for CETA to do that also, CETA does not unilaterally execute on these systems. CETA works a lot closely with the client, in this case being the police services. So CETA plays the role of a service provider for government, and then CETA has to, for example, you have to source the underlying software tools. So it is a project, and in this case, it's a large project that we would have had to fulfill. Having said that, like you pointed out, it has taken longer than it needed to. as part of my settling into the role, I have been traveling to different parts of the country, meeting the heads of ICT in the police, and the issue of dockets that has been, of e-dockets that has been, and it's one of the things that are very high on our radar to get those done.
And one of those hurdles perhaps that you might have to deal with and that you've been dealing with and that you know very well, the services that many of us need, all of us actually in the country, Home Affairs. In many instances, we have become familiar with the lexicon of systems are offline.
Yes.
Almost every time, systems are offline. Where's SITA's role in all that? Because it appears as though it happens more often than not. What's your role in mitigating those issues?
So we provide the network services and some of the systems for Home Affairs and not all of them. I think with Home Affairs, because the question has come up quite a bit, we only do about 25% of their spend is through SITA. The rest they do themselves. The network services, in the past that has been an issue. In fact, last week I was applying for a new passport. I went to the Home Affairs office, and of course I had to disclose that I am from SITA. And the lady that was assisting me there pointed out that you guys have given us a difficult time, but she also admitted that, the network services have improved, but other applications were a challenge. But for it to work, Thabo, we have to bring our capability and work with the applications. A network is only as good as the applications that run on it. You have to design and make sure that it suits the application. And there's room for improvement there in how we enable those services.
20 minutes after 10 o'clock, you're on 702. My name is Thabo Sholemasha. I'm in for Clement Manyathela. We're together till 12. This conversation will last till 11. If you have any concerns, questions, queries about SITA, feel free to shout. And SITA, as in State Information Technology Agency, I am sitting here and having a discussion with the newly appointed Managing Director, Makgatho Mello, in studio, 21 after 10.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports, no more disconnected systems, no more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on iStratGo.com. iStratgo.com.
If you're CEO or CFO looking to grow across Africa, then the next 60 seconds are for you. Because in that short time, one bank in Africa will process over 300 million rand. That's 430 billion rand every day. Right now, we have 17.7 trillion rand of the continent's assets under custody management, making us far and away the largest bank by assets in Africa. Which is why in 2025, we were voted Best Bank for Corporates in Africa at the Euro Money Awards for Excellence. So, if you're looking for a bank with scale, we're easy to find. We're in 21 key markets across Africa, and we've been on the continent for 163 years, so we are not going anywhere. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Famous for available staff. Famous for knowledgeable staff. Famous for always helping you with a smile. Now with 10 stores across Gauteng, our expert staff are here to help you with all your hardware needs. Paint, power tools, gardening, pet care and plumbing. Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi. It's Joburg. In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
24 minutes after 10 o'clock. Welcome back. You're on 702. My guest, Makgatho Mello, SETA Managing Director, is with us in studio, and SETA, as in State Information Technology Agency, they are responsible for procuring on behalf of government departments ICT needs, services and products. And they did say earlier on, the Managing Director did mention earlier on that in some departments, some departments would be responsible for some of their ICT needs themselves, not necessarily going through SETA. It has been in the news of recent, especially with the previous MD and at loggerheads with the Deputy Minister who sits on behalf of the shareholder. But it does more than that. In the age of ICT, where government needs to be leading, it must discharge those responsibilities of making sure that the services that you get from government are easily accessible and they could be of some use to you at a touch of a button. You may want to share a view or two about SETA as we get to know them. Feel free to do so on 011-883-0702. 011-883-0702. Alternatively, send a voice note to 072-702-1702. To that very same number, you can also send your text message. Mr. Mello, let's come back to the services that you are providing to government. And recently, you, as SETA, have denied the fact that you endured a cyber attack. And that has become somewhat of a newsworthy item, in a sense that more and more hackers seem to take chances, especially with government entities, trying to go for data, trying to go for various other things that attackers would be looking out for. How secured are our systems?
We put a lot of effort into securing our systems, and the recent, I think it was over a week ago, recent reports that our systems had been compromised, were not entirely accurate. We did go through it. We did, of course, go and double check to make sure that that is not the case. And for now, we're comfortable that we're good. It's not going to stop. It is not going to stop. There was an article this morning about another entity of government that has also had an attack. It's not going to stop, and we're constantly equipping ourselves and skilling ourselves. We are collaborating also with other entities of government that also have built expertise, like the CSIR, to make sure that we exchange knowledge and expertise. We are also repositioning the security function in SETA to make sure that we can make the right investment and attract skills as well, because it comes down to, a lot of these things come down to the quality of the expertise. So to look at strengthening that focus. But we do expect that going forward, as we digitize a lot more, there will be a lot more attacks.
And the report was labeled as hacktivism by my broadband to be precise, and they said the group was known as an anonymous Nigerian who was behind alleged coordinated cyber attacks and protests in support of socio-political movements, and had threatened to leak South African government data unless its demands were met. So you've already said that's untrue, but how often do these happen?
Oh, the attacks are constant. The checks, the scans are constant. You know, our security team, in fact, last year they did an assessment of about 158 entities of government, where they looked at the maturity of the security in those, and they shared those reports with those entities. We see that also with the advent of AI. You know, you now have AI platforms that are used for those attacks. That means that we also have to equip ourselves in that. And that is an area that we are looking at in enforcing. Again, you have to build the skills, build the platforms, and then also train the platforms, because AI in itself doesn't do the work. You have to train it to do that. So we're making the investment, and we have the focus in doing that. We're already reorganizing the organization, where that security practice will now work closely with the chief digital officer that will go towards driving that.
And one of the things that you have vowed to do was digital modernization that I'd want us to jump into. And one may argue that the new broom sweeps clean, and we would need to have time frames around that. Looking at our archaic systems that are generally there, I've already cited some examples with Home Affairs offline, the South African Police Service, as I was corrected a long time ago by your spokesperson, that it's not services, it's service. I'm keen to understand if we have some immediate low-hanging fruit that we can jump into. I mean, look at our banking system. I can withdraw money from the ATM without having my card with me, as long as I have a phone. So that simply says to us the technology, the capacity, and the competency is available. And the question is, why is not government taking advantage of that? Before you respond, let me just go to Eyewitness News headlines, and I'll come back with that. Sfiso Zulu standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Welcome once again, Sfiso. Good morning.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Gauteng police are searching for people responsible for the murder of a teenage boy in Bramfisherville. The 18-year-old was attacked with a panga yesterday. Police say the boy was a pupil at a secondary school in Meadowlands who had earlier in the day visited his friend in Bramfisherville. Commander of the Hawks Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit in Durban, Gavin Jacob, has admitted to moving drugs from a crime scene to process them at a different location. In June 2021, police intercepted a shipping container at a depot in Durban carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine. The confiscated drugs were later stolen from the Hawks' officers a few years later. Jacobs has been testifying at the Madlanga Commission this morning. And more than 500 political parties have registered to contest the upcoming local government elections. Voter registration weekend will be on 20 and 21 June, and this will allow eligible voters an opportunity to register, update their details or confirm their voter stations. The IEC's Michael Hendrickser says the number of registered political parties could still change before Election Day. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling towards Sunning Hill, we've got an accident reported on the N1 North. It happened right after Winnie Mandela Drive. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there, or try to use inner city routes like your Winnie Mandela Drive through Republic Road to try and avoid the scene. If you are traveling on the N12 West, we've got delays towards the Glulies interchange. Roadworks are taking place there. There's also roadworks towards the south of Joburg to Devland. This is along the Golden Highway coming out of Union Avenue towards the N12 exit, and then heading towards Amalgam. Do expect delays along the M2 West between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Traffic lights are still out of order in Monte Cassino at Monte Cassino Boulevard and Winnie Mandela Drive, as well as in Marlborough at Far East Bank Road and Marlborough Drive. Please approach with care. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Honor the Fathers on Sunday, 21 June at Nairok Sculpture Park celebrates the elders of South African music who helped shape the country's cultural heritage across generations. Enjoy the typically warm, high-felt winter sun while cherishing our fathers, grandfathers, stepfathers, father figures, fathers past and fathers to be. The program showcases the master crafts of Vusi Mahlasela, Hebi Tswaedi, Selaelo Selota, Matala Kunene, and others. Limited tickets are available from nairoksarts.com. Nairoks is a private, not-for-profit foundation to benefit the arts. All income is used to maintain the grounds, the artist residency program, and artist support.
Whenever she fell or got hurt, a kiss always took the pain away. Honey and hugs helped at first when the coughing started. It's just a cold. Keep her warm and she'll be fine, we thought. I wish I could kiss RSV away too.
Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
It's another girl!
Families multiply, fees shouldn't. With Ultimate Banking, you get support for every chapter. Get discounted banking for your spouse and give each of your children a head start with a Mega U account. Because as your family grows, your banking should keep up. Apply online. Your story matters. ABSA. Terms and conditions apply. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider.
When tax issues get complex, you need more than general advice. You need specialist insight. AJM turns intricate tax challenges into clear strategic solutions. From disputes and litigation to long-term planning, our expertise protects what matters to you and your business. With teams in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Namibia, we deliver the rigorous analysis high-stakes decisions demand. AJM. Complex tax matters simply resolved.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
25 minutes to 11 o'clock. You're still on 702. Thabo in for Clement. Together with you till 12. Great having you with us. 011-883-0702. 011-883-0702. My guest, Makgatho Mello, Managing Director, is with us in studio. And he is in charge of the State Information Technology Agency. This is an agency that is responsible for procuring services, products, and everything else that has to do with ICT for government. And as it was mentioned before, there are some departments that also procure for themselves, but generally they have to discharge those duties. And it may seem a little bit mundane, a little bit unsexy, a little bit unfashionable to touch on these ICT issues up until perhaps our information is hacked into and we will label them lazy and call them all sorts of names. This is very integral to the execution of government services. Very integral. Service delivery is highly linked to this. We are becoming digitized every single day, or else we'll remain behind. The queues will be longer as you're waiting just to get that one form and join another queue after filling the form, submit it, and then join another one to wait for the results on the other end and come back after 2 weeks for whatever it is that you have applied for. So that's why we are having this conversation, to try to sensitize ourselves and to get to know a little bit more about these agencies and not just invite them in when there is a story of corruption, in board fighting, controversies. But the more we know about them and the more we question what they do, the more equipped we will be when we are taking them. So I think it's a very worthwhile exercise to bring them on board and find out about this. That's why I'm urging you and inviting you that there's no stupid question. I sound like my teacher now in high school. There's no stupid question. Feel free to ask. Get to know what it is that they do. And the new MD is Makgatho Mello in front of me. Prior to the break and prior to the Eyewitness News headlines, Ntate Mello, we asked about low-hanging fruit, especially with the queues. It really kills me. And I'm not just saying this. It really kills me and pains me heavily when I see a number of our people people still having to sit all day in various queues, be it Home Affairs, be it any other department, because it's telling a story of lack of transformation and systems that are not properly upgraded to speak to our needs now. What can we do now? You're new here and you've got great ideas. What can be done in the next 100 days to show that now Ntatemelo is in charge?
100 days might be a bit of a stretch, but there is a couple of things that we're working on. First, the project I'm most excited about, and one of the first that I had to sit in, was with the Office of the Chief Justice for Courts Online, to help the courts in that. That's a project where we're working with Microsoft, and that is one that we have to deliver. And it's showing great promise. A lot of work has been done, and we're going to do that for the operation of the courts, the exchange of documents, and also the workflow of the courts. That is one that is already started in 22 courts, and we're looking to work with the Office of the Chief Justice to expand that. On a less, you use the word not sexy, is to improve the connectivity so that you don't have network services across a lot of government departments, about 6,000 offices of government where we're working a lot with Open7, entity of Telkom, to migrate a lot of them from copper into high-speed networks to make sure that systems are accessible. That is something we have to deliver this year. We are also one of the largest tenders that government has to run, which is for procurement of computers, IT products, and peripheral equipment. We're running that on a digital platform, so we're digitizing that SCM. It is a very large tender where we expect over 1,000 bidders, and that is run digitally. So that will also be a good test, and it will be a good step on the digitization journey as well.
It might not fall squarely on your desk, but the competency and capacity of state officials and administrators as far as knowing how to operate systems that you may be creating with a great vision, how do the two link up? Because you might do all those wonderful things, and on the other end, you have Thabo in Klipspruit sitting in a Home Affairs office who is not well acquainted with IT and needs proper training.
The responsibility, we do carry a fair amount of that responsibility, because the view that I'm steering in the organization is we exist to enable government. And that enabling goes to the point of making sure that there's the right training and development to do, and that we don't purely procure and implement a system, but there's a plan in place to make sure that it creates value for government, and of course, by extending that to also the citizen.
Sure.
So we do not run the training, but part of that change management that we have to do is to make sure that when we sign up to deploy a new service, a new tool, that there is also in parallel a catalog of service providers or of institutions that can train government departments. So we do carry a bit of the responsibility to make sure that education on that is accessible and available.
And I would like you maybe to share with me before I just take this call. I'll take the call first, and after that I would want you to maybe share with us the level of competency in government as far as ICT is concerned. But first, I'm going to ask you to put on your headphones there, and so that people can see that you're on radio. I'm joking, so that you can hear the callers. Nicholas is calling us from Pretoria. Nicholas, morning, welcome.
Morning, Thabo. How are you?
I'm free, man. How's it going?
Okay, I'm good. I am a police officer, so when I hear someone from SITA on the radio, then I just decided that I should maybe make a call. My question, or I will for Mr. Milos to say that what are they doing with regarding the SAPS system, because that's SAPS system seems as if it's outdated. Even if when you open the computer, it can take you even a half the whole 30 minutes the system trying to open. We will call the SITA members now and then to come and look on those things, but then little is being done. And the other thing is this thing of you see, now we are living in a digital world. Now we find people who are coming with the documents which they've retrieved them are retrieved from their emails or whatever the case. They want to come and certify those documents. There's no way they can make a progressive system whereby we can verify those documents over that system to say that, okay, this document is being retrieved from the original for us to certify it, because it becomes a problem between us and the community members when we say, no, this is not the true document, original document. Then they will come and say, no, this time we don't receive these things in hard copy. We receive them through the emails, and therefore where I have to send these things, they want them certified. Then we said, okay, it's not the correct original document. So how can they uplift the system so that we can verify those documents on the system? Then we can assist our community perfectly. Sure. That's my comment.
Sure, Nicholas, don't go away in case the MD wants to ask you a follow-up question. Datamelo?
Thanks, Tabo, and thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas touches on a real world part of that. I spoke about the software application that you use. There's the network access, and generally where we find ourselves, especially in our relationship with SAPS, is that what I'm finding is that we've been maintaining a lot of legacy. We call them legacy, meaning outdated or systems, and that's one of the things that we have to do as SITA, and that's one of our responsibilities that I'm not sure we've always given it focus, because when you run those applications, you must constantly check for relevance and whether they're meeting some of the needs of today. And we do have to retire and migrate a lot of government to newer systems that are a lot more effective and faster. You then also have to look at the network services. I spoke earlier that we do see that a lot of government offices, the network the speed and performance is not going to be appropriate to give them the experience they require. And that's one of the projects we're working with. I mentioned that with OpenServe and an entity of Telkom, we're looking at that. But he touches on another important part to say the verification of documents. There's certain things where we probably have to get to a universe where you actually don't need to verify a document, because any office of government has to be able to say, give me proof of your ID and I know that you are qualified in that. And that is something that we see as our responsibility of SITA, and that we are working towards to make sure that entities of government can interchange information and to create a layer to make that possible. And so that is not, we're not there yet, but that's a very critical role and a very important thing that I see it as very high on the list of things that I have to make sure that the organization is able to do.
And whilst you inherited this problem of Nicholas having to say that just to switch on their computers at a police station in Pretoria or wherever else, it takes them anything from 10 to 30 minutes for the system to be properly on, which is unheard of in the private sector or even in our homes, because I just grab my laptop and I switch it on. I expect that in the next 30 seconds, I should be up and running at least. And whilst I understand that you knew at this, why do you think that is in 2026? I mean, we've since 1999 to here. I'm not trying to stir the pot and I'm not trying to put you in a corner, but I'm just thinking from your vantage point, why did it take so long and why are you still talking about it? You should be speaking about clouds. You should be speaking about other things. What happened in that space prior to you jumping on board?
Simply put, we have focused on systems and not put our client in the center of things, enabling them. It starts with the device that a client uses, and that is the computer. And in my visits to the regional heads of ICT in the police, that has come up. We have not done a good job of making sure that we support them to refresh the technology, and that's been an issue. And that's something we have to solve over the next 12 months, the issue of making sure that their equipment is refreshed. That is a SETA responsibility, and that's something we haven't done well. So put that in the pile of things that just need to get done. It was just an issue of attention to details and a focus on execution. And that's one of the areas where we've probably dropped the ball, looking at at our history with the police services. There's a lot of other work that SETA technicians do. I mean, a large contingent of our staff work in the SAPS, supporting their networks there. Yeah. And they've done well, but we have not paid attention to the core things, the fundamental things that makes the experience of a police officer easier.
Competency at the leadership level?
One of the things that you'll find is that SETA has a large vacancy in the executive levels, and so you have a lot of people acting in roles, and that's something that I expect, at least at the top layer, at the executive level. That's one of the things that we have to do by the by September, middle of the financial year. We have to get that dispensed with and get that done.
Managing Director of SETA, Makgatho is my guest. 11 minutes to 11.
Let's count backward. 5, insurance. 4, pineapple. 3, insurance. 2, pineapple. 1, you're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
I'm Samela Kelpoy, an actress and a mum. Do you know what's in your cupboard? I've been trying to be intentional about the food I buy and keep in my cupboard. Unhealthy packaged foods can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and diabetes. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods, high in saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Join me. Sign the petition on heala.org. That's HEALA.org.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Makgatho is my guest. He's SETA Managing Director. SETA is a State Information Technology Agency, and we are speaking about that agency, its role, and as it relates to you as a user of services, especially government services. When you go to the hospital, wouldn't it be fantastic if you go to a clinic, suppose not because you'd be ill, but when you get there, you get a proper service and they already have your digitized file there, and they tell you that your next appointment is due when, last time you saw whoever, and on your cell phone you could be just reminded of your appointment in 24 hours time and what to bring with you. And that's where we intend to go. That's where I'd like for us to be. But all of that needs some digital competency from our systems. And I'd like to find out, do you find that government is competent enough, and our ICT systems, do they speak directly to your needs as the SETA is the custodian of that? I'd love to hear from you. 8 minutes to 10 o'clock. 072 702 1702. That's where I'd like you to send your text messages and your voice notes to.
Hi, Tawa and the team. My question to your guest is, do you think digitization is conducive to our environment, or we need to go for a hybrid system? The reason why I'm asking the question is, let's say we are offline. What will happen? What contingency plan will you implement during offline? So that's my question. And secondly, what about capabilities? Do we have capabilities to run fully digitization? David in Rosbank.
Mr. Midlo?
So there's certain benefits that digitization provides, right? And David is quite right because it depends on connectivity. But the time it takes and consistency of record is one of the benefits that you get, and the ability to back up that, if you do things on paper, there's always the issue you mentioned of the lost dockets. So digitization, without a doubt, creates value to society. The example you made earlier, in fact, interestingly, we did a project as CETA with the Free State Department of Health, where we started to digitize medical records. So that is something that is already in flight, and we're quite keen to explore that with the other provincial governments, because there is also significant liability of people suing provincial departments of health for and that will provide enable departments to do that, and it also helps doctors in treatment of patients because they can look at the history, know which doctors, and that information is universally accessible. And that's the value of digitization. You get very good history, and you get a complete history as well, and the ability to search for information
certainly
very quickly. Yeah.
And before I go to the next one, I'm interested in knowing about the when part, and I say that because a number of leaders in government agencies, and not necessarily referring to you, they say the right things. And our people have become numb. Our listeners and just generally South Africans have become numb to people saying the right things. As I'm speaking to you now, Mr. Midlo, and having received a call from Nicholas earlier on in Pretoria, as he is working for SAPS, as we've discussed the dockets, as we've discussed the court issues and all of those, the health matters, the health records of individuals. This time next year, when you are sitting in front of me or Clement or any of my colleagues here at 702, will you be able to say, Tawa was here? And actually, guess what? The dockets are digitized. And you also asked about the health issues. Now you get a text message reminding you of your appointment to your nearest clinic. And as a diabetes patient, there's also a record of what you should be eating. Are we going to see some tangibles, really practical tangibles, next year at 5 to 11 on the 3rd of June as you'll be sitting here?
Tabo, you should have courts online, at least for the first 28 premier courts that are under the leadership of the Office of the Chief Justice, working with the Deputy Chief Justice. We should have that working and functioning with integrity of data. We should have that done.
Yeah, next year.
Next year.
Okay.
We should have at least 1,000 of government offices that where the broadband services, where at least the connectivity has been upgraded. We already have 1,000, so that number should be closer or in excess of 2,000. That should be done. You should have a CETA that's got the top leadership structure in place. That should be done.
And we should have procurement services that are not tampered with, given how huge the numbers are and the money concerned is within CETA as well.
The supply chain part, we should have that running on a digital platform.
I will be reminding you of this, and I will play the record back next year, this time, as I'll be chatting to you again. Thank you so much for honoring the invite, and we hope to speak to you very soon. And I'm really hoping that those things are done for the benefit of just generally South Africans, if anything at all. Mr. Magwenya is SETA Managing Director, and he joined us for that conversation in studio.
Thank you, Tabo. Thank you.
Really
From the people who know FICA best, Encino KYC invites you to the 2026 Fighting Financial Crime Conference. Join top prosecutors, investigators, and compliance leaders for a day of real-world case studies, practical strategies, and powerful networking. 24th of June in Johannesburg, and tickets are on sale now. Simply Google Encino Fighting Financial Crime. That's NCINO. Proudly brought to you by Encino KYC. Fighting financial crime isn't just talk, it's what we do every day.
The beeping machines, the hospital smells, the moments of fear. And all that remains is what matters most.
Dad's home!
Because recovery isn't about the procedure or the paperwork. It's about getting back to the people and places that matter to you. Bonitas, Medical Aid for South Africa. Voted #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index Awards for the 2nd year running. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
Imagine a holiday where the only thing on the to-do list is enjoy yourself. With Norwegian Cruise Line, you can sail to over 400 destinations worldwide effortlessly. Visit ncl.com for the best deals or contact your travel agent today. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here. T's and C's apply.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
You're on 702. It's exactly a minute to 11 o'clock. And just a quick reminder, we're speaking to Magwenya, the SETA Managing Director, about all issues ICT, especially in government. In the next while, just after the news, Listener's Choice will be touching on visas. You must have heard recently that SAFA was not prepared with the visa situation. Helman Mkelele, the assistant coach, will be joining the team. I think today they were in the plane yesterday together with the head of security. Those things are very critical. And how easy is it if you are a traveling individual to get a visa to different countries? What's South Africa's position as far as our neighboring countries are concerned? That process can be very hideous. You pay a lot of money, they want documents, you go through this agency, and you wait quite a while. They ask you 10,000 questions, especially if you're going to the US. All of that and more. Have you had visa issues? You'll get them answered just after 11 o'clock, and time for news now.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulum. Gauteng police are searching for people responsible for the murder of a teenage boy in Bramfisherville. The 18-year-old was attacked with a panga yesterday. Police say the boy was a pupil at a secondary school in Meadowlands who had earlier in the day visited his friend in Bramfisherville. The boys then went to another school in the area where the 18-year-old was assaulted by unknown attackers. The police is in Sibeko.
The victim sustained severe injuries and was transported to a local clinic in a private vehicle for medical treatment. He later succumbed to his injuries. The motive for the attack remains unknown at this stage. No arrests have been made and investigations are ongoing.
Commander of the Hawks Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit in Durban, Gavin Jacob, has admitted to moving drugs from a crime scene to process them at a different location. In June 2021, police intercepted a shipping container at a depot in Durban carrying about 541 kilograms of cocaine. The confiscated drugs were later stolen from the Hawks officers a few years later. Jacobs has been testifying at the Matlanga Commission today about his knowledge of the drug bust and subsequent theft. Tabiso Goba reports.
Gavin Jacobs says when they reached the Isipingo depot, they offloaded the drugs from the shipping container.
Upon offloading these bags, I noticed that the area that we were working in was congested. I looked at the area around the container and I realized that unpacking the bricks of cocaine would cover a surface area greater than the area available. I also noted that the depot was busy with machinery traversing our immediate vicinity.
Jacob says he ordered the drugs to be transported from the depot to the Isipingo police station. The head of Hawks Serious Organised Crime Investigations Unit, Hendrik Flynn, previously told the commission that this was irregular as drugs are supposed to be processed at the scene where they are found. Jacob also testified he didn't call the local criminal record centre when he reached the Isipingo police station, something Flynn also flagged as an irregularity.
It was futile to to call out LCRC when we did not have the required exhibit bags. My members had a few of the bags of the required specifications, but not enough for this magnitude.
The centre is responsible for the documenting of crime scenes and recovering evidence from them. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The presiding judge in the Nafees Modak trial has confronted co-accused Ziad Pool about allegations he was handing over cash on Modak's behalf. Pool was grilled under cross-examination yesterday as the state used cell phone evidence to challenge his version. The NPA alleges that Modak used Pool to pay co-accused Amal Yankees for inside information on anti-gang unit operations. Pool, Modak and 11 others face charges including murder, racketeering, extortion, fraud and money laundering in the Western Cape High Court. Carlo Peterson reports.
Prosecutor Greg Wolmerans put it to Ziad Pool that he met Amal Janchis at a Century City petrol station in November 2021 to hand over an envelope. While Pool claims he was acting on instructions from Nafees Modak's associate, the late Andre Fabing, messages from Janchis' phone suggest the meeting was arranged by Modak himself. Presiding Judge Robert Henny put the state's version directly to Pool.
You went in to go deliver an envelope to a mob containing money. I didn't know it was money. Well, it seems, objectively speaking now. For Mr. Modak's business with the mob, is that what you also did? What looks so you're in front of
The trial is set to continue today. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And more than 500 political parties have registered to contest the upcoming local government elections. Voter registration weekend will be on 20 and 21 June, and this will allow eligible voters an opportunity to register, update their details, or confirm their voting stations. The IEC's Michael Hendrickser says the number of registered parties could still change before Election Day.
At that stage, overall, in terms of registered parties, we have 526. However, not all of them will be participating in the election because the next step is to submit candidates. So some parties will elect to contest in some municipalities and others they will not be contesting. So we'll only know the final numbers once the nomination process is concluded.
Gold is trading at $4,458.77 an ounce. The rand is at 16.33 to the dollar, 21.95 to the pound, 18.86 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.58 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North between Winnie Mandela Drive and Rivonia Road. That's due to an earlier accident. There's also queuing traffic in Devland along the Golden Highway. This is between Union Avenue and the N12 exit due to roadworks.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Gauteng police are searching for people responsible for the murder of a teenage boy in Bramfisherville.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
.702, 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Shola. Great to be with you. Welcome. In the past hour, we were speaking about the state ICT agency. And they do all sorts of work for government departments as far as information technology is concerned. I'm very much interested in the fact that Mr. Makgato Mello, the newly appointed managing director, has committed himself that next year, this time, things will be different as you get to engage with various government services, the dockets, the hospitals. Things will be digitized. I will be playing him back the records of this discussion. I'll play him back the discussion as it will be available in our podcast here at primemediaplus.com if you need it. Next year, this time, I'll remind him of what he said. So also hold me accountable there so that we make sure that at least those few things are functioning, including functional, healthy, and operational computers in various government departments. But this next while, we will be speaking about visas. What sort of problems do you encounter when trying to attain your visa? Which country is most problematic for you? And the costs, how are you dealing with the costs and 10 million questions that you have to answer? Any questions regarding visas? Let me know. 8 minutes after 11 o'clock.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Kerry Colville is my guest, the senior immigration consultant at Expert Web. Kerry, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Great talking to you. Please help me pronounce your surname properly.
Thabo, thanks so much for having me. The pronunciation is Calva.
Calva.
That's correct.
Fantastic. I don't like messing around with people's identities like that. So thanks for the correction and apologies if I butchered your surname. Welcome, Kerry. I wanted to find out first, as we delve into this discussion about visas, it's seemingly an easy process to the well-traveled and those who are familiar with the process, but it can be a tedious task for many. A visa is an official document, of course, that we understand authorizes foreign national. But I'd like you to break it down in a very simple language. If someone doesn't know what a visa is, please share with us, Kerry.
Great. So, Thabo, a visa is essentially, and you hit the nail on the head, it's an official permission from a country allowing you to enter that country. Now, whether it be for tourism, business, study, work, permanent resident status, a visa allows you to enter a country lawfully.
Sure. And by having said that, I would assume there are different types of visas. Say more about that as well, and how do they differ?
Absolutely. So every single visa will differ per country. If we look at South Africa, we have visitors visas, and those are for people who are coming here for holiday purposes. We have visitors visas that endorse business authorization. So that allows business travelers to come into South Africa and have meetings. Of course, study visas, foreign nationals coming to study in the country, and then all of our various work visa categories that allow people to work legally in South Africa.
The application process can be tedious, as I've already said, Kerry. How does that process find itself working out? And after, what is the application process? What does it look like, especially given the context that we are now dealing with? As far as the USA is concerned, that can be a little bit more different than other countries, isn't it?
Correct. So when we look at the United States, of course, every single country that is applying to the United States may have a different process. I'll speak about South Africa specifically. When you're applying for a visa to the US, the first thing you need to do is understand what visa you are applying for. When we talk about a B1 visa, that is for tourism, we have our very popular H2B visa and H2A categories, which are for the seasonal farmers that go over. You need to understand what you are applying for. If you're applying for the purpose of tourism, the application process is largely done online. It is an online system for the United States. You'll complete what is called a DS-160 form. It is a very long form. There's a lot of information that the U.S. government want to know and understand about you and your intentions in their country before they give you a visa. Once you have completed those, once you've completed your forms, you'll then move forward to make an interview appointment. That'll be at the U.S. Embassy in either Johannesburg or Cape Town. You need to come prepared for the application that you're applying for. So again, you'll print your DS-160 off, you take your photographs, you take your supporting documents, and you then undergo a formal interview to make sure that the answers you've provided in your DS-160 form match the information that you are telling the officer. I say DS-160, this is specifically for a visitor's visa, but of course the form will differ based on what application you're applying for.
Yeah. And of course, once that application has been processed, can either be successful or rejected. What would be some reasons it would be rejected?
Some of the most common reasons for rejection, and again, I'm going to talk about the US specifically, would be insufficient proof of funds, inconsistencies in an application, failure to demonstrate ties to your home country. Very important to note is that the adjudicating official's job is to make sure, is this person going to behave in the United States? Are they going to adhere to the Immigration Act? Are they going to leave the country after their sojourn? It is extremely important to include as much evidence into your application as possible to demonstrate that you have enough money, you have somewhere to stay, you will return to your home country after your trip.
At times, the interview questions, especially with the U.S. visas, the questions not at the embassy but at the consulate can be a bit tedious. I mean, I know they would want to ask, what is it that I do for a living? And a number of other things that are a bit perturbing. So how important is it to be prepared for those questions? And what role does your hesitation, body language, or anything that may be verbally communicated in an interview interfere with you being either successful or rejected?
I think all of these things must come into consideration. The adjudicating official sitting on the other side of the window conducting the interview understand that people are nervous. So, they can see from body language when somebody is nervous or when somebody is trying to hide something. We always advise, speak to a professional or a company that understands the policies that can guide you through what are some of the questions to expect. And again, I think it comes back down to preparation. If you have said in your application form that you are going to visit your friend in Florida, and from Florida you're going to go to New York and then to San Francisco, make sure that you have accommodation booked in these places. You have enough money for flights. You have some excursions booked. And when you conduct that interview, you need to know what's in your application. It needs to be aligned with the information that you've provided previously. So yes, I think body language is always, it'll always be very nervous to go for these interviews. But adjudicating officials understand the difference between nervousness and between somebody who may be trying to get a visa for ulterior motives.
Kerry, is it possible to have your visa given to you successfully and when you get to the other end, rejected entry?
It does happen very, very infrequently. It's not, a massive concern. I'm sure everybody has watched shows like Border Security and those good things. It is only where there is good reason that somebody will be denied entry into a country. And this can be for any country. South Africa has the same laws that apply. If you get a visa to the United States, but you try and board the airplane with something that you're not supposed to have, you have over $10,000 in cash, these are all concerns. These are areas of concerns for a country because, yes, you may have applied for the visa correctly and it was issued with the prerequisite authorization. But if you are trying to enter a country, and in the case of the United States, they are governed by TSA, if TSA feel that you either lied on your application or you have fraudulent documentation, or again, if they feel that you are coming to that country for ulterior motives, entry into that country can be refused at the port of entry.
Sure. Kerry, we'll come back with more questions from Simon, and we'll also take a question from Semi. 17 minutes after 11 o'clock on 702.
Mzansi, Take-A-Lot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks a Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take-A-Lot Thanks a Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
Just Andalex it.
Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Andalex it.
Let's hear from Dr. Amand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
But I walk into a place, and this is clearly what Cabello has done. He simply writes down a registration number and walks out with a plate. Is the supplying of that without, for example, checking on documentation, checking on ID numbers, is that a criminal offense?
Well, it should be. That is fraud, because you look at it at common fraud. So you are supposed to have a register. We pay annual fees that's in excess of 40,000 Rand a year. So we have to keep registered.
Jan de Lange is president of the License Plate Association of South Africa.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702. 702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
19 after 11, you're on 702. Thabo in for Clement. We're together till 12. Right now, we're having a chat about visas and all dynamics around visas. So feel free to take advantage of the situation and ask any question that you'd like posed to Kerry Calva, who is Senior Immigrant Consultant at Expat Web. Kerry joins us right now as we are trying to understand more about visas on Listener's Choice. How do visas work? And listeners wanted to find out more about visas. Of course, the background to it is not so complicated. Visa situations with Bafana Bafana, the national soccer team. You'd know that the assistant coach only had to leave yesterday because of the visa situation, and they were not well prepared. There was this, that, and the other. But generally, as you're traveling around the world, what are some of the concerns that you have around visas? Let's take your voice note on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Thabo. This is Semi. I'd like to know from your guest, as a South African, if you want to visit USA or Britain, you will need a visa, and they will look at things like whether you've got a criminal record. They will look at whether you've got any form of illnesses that are transmittable. They will look at all sorts of things before they grant you a visa, before they decide whether to grant it to you or not. But when the British people or the Americans come to South Africa, our country does not need them, does not require them to apply for a visa. They can just come into our country as long as they're not going to stay here for 90 days. Why is that? Why is it that our country is not doing the same thing to them as they're doing to us?
Very interesting question. Thanks for that, Semi. Kerry?
Thabo, Semi, I think your question is probably as good as mine. It's a very, very difficult question to answer. And one must understand that these regulations are put into place based on a lot of research and work that is done from our government and from our background. It's also important to note that when you have visa-free nationals coming into South Africa, they are staying at hotels, they are renting cars, they are eating at restaurants, they are going on excursions. So it is extremely important for our economy and for tourism to allow people from certain countries to come into South Africa, again, as Semi correctly said, on a 90-day port of entry stamp. Some countries are visa-free for 30 days, 90 days. It's just dependent on where they come from. But it really does boost our economy. It is very good for our tourism industry to let people come into South Africa as long as they adhere to their visa conditions and they spend their foreign currencies here. So as to why they are allowed visa-free, one would expect that the answer would be because it's good to have foreign investment and foreign money spent in South Africa.
And I suppose the more cogent answer would be we are not equal. And the sooner we accept that, the better. Because I suppose all countries do need foreign investment, foreign currency to be within their boundaries. But generally, we do have somewhat of a pecking order as far as countries are concerned. And to be honest, UK, US, they seem to think that they are at the higher end. And I'm not saying that to be controversial or anything, but generally we are just not equal. And that's just the long and short of it, because we do not necessarily impose visas because I suppose we need them more than they need us. It could be another answer, but Kerry, I don't mean to put you in the corner. These are my words, not yours. You can just say that crazy guy on radio said this. I didn't say it. Let's take Shane from Joburg, right? Shane, welcome. Let's go to Shane. Shane, you well?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah. The floor is yours, Shane.
Sorry?
I was saying the floor is yours. Feel free.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry to bother you guys, but my son's girlfriend this very morning had an interview at the American Embassy at 9:30. She went up to the lady at the counter, and the lady said, "Why are you going to America?" She said, "I'm going to see my boyfriend." "Oh, what does he do in America?" She replied, "He's an HTA worker." The woman immediately turned around and looked at her and said, "You declined, you're not coming back to South Africa." She didn't look at her paperwork. She didn't look at anything. She just totally flatly declined her. And now this poor girl is distraught. I mean, she's got an autistic child. I mean, the woman didn't even look at her paperwork. She's a school teacher. The only time she could go is now I think it's the June or July holidays. So now what can she do now to try and must she reapply for again for an interview, or what can she do? Because she was so looking forward to going and seeing my son in America, in North Dakota.
Yeah. Shane, listen on the radio. Kerry?
Shane, thanks so much for your question. I can only imagine how she must be feeling out. It's an extremely unfortunate position. One must consider that the USA, under the current administration, are tightening the belt. Around the world, they are tightening the belt for every application. It may be that within her application form, something triggered that either she doesn't have sufficient funds for the trip, or there is concern that she might remain in the USA beyond the validity and stay with your son. There are an amalgamation of different reasons as to why that application was rejected. My guidance would be to reapply, but again, the decision will always be at the discretion of the adjudicating official. They will look at her application form before she arrives. Yes, the documents that she takes with her are in support of the information she has included in her form. So whether they look at the documentation on the day of the interview or not, it is more as a precautionary to take documents with you. But the information that's included within the form, we always advise consult a professional who understands the information that needs to be included. My guidance, again, as I said, probably reapply. But it's a very unfortunate situation, and I sympathize with the current circumstances.
Kerry, we're getting questions thick and fast. I'm going to ask us to move a little bit faster just because we only have 4 minutes remaining. I wish we had an hour for this. So let me just quickly go to Lebo. Lebo, straight to your question. Good morning.
Hi, Tabo. No, I wanted to comment. In 2001, I visited Ireland, and from Ireland, I went to the UK, and there was no visas required. That thing only started happening when we started selling our passports to our neighbors, and our neighbors visiting those countries. We were given a warning that we need to sort out our home affairs, and we didn't do that. That's when the UK started saying, including Ireland, they started saying we need visas to visit their countries, because we are not doing the right things within our country. So most countries trying to protect themselves from the risks.
Okay.
That's why we want visas.
Lebo, thanks very much. Lebo in Krugersdorp. Just quick question, Kerry. It comes from Simon, and Simon says, "Hi Tabo. In your guest's experience, when can a sports or athlete work visa be declined by the hosting country outside for the reasons being due to administrative errors?" Thanks, Simon. Kerry.
Simon, again, a number of different reasons if there's inconsistencies in the application. I think if we look at the Bafana situation currently, my view is that it was poor preparation, poor planning. I think time management was just not thought of. But it is unlikely for sports people to get declined if everything is in order and the application has been prepared well and well in advance.
Another question, what happens when the applicant has a criminal record?
It's dependent on the visa application itself. Generally for tourist visas, criminal or police clearances aren't required. If we're looking at more long-term visas, a criminal record is going to be required for various countries that you've lived or visited.
Yeah.
Again, dependent on conviction, dependent on circumstances, how long it was. We would always advise that if you are going to apply for a long-term visa to another country, if the law does allow to have that criminal record expunged.
Simpiwe is asking, I had the U.S. Embassy may check through your social media to check if you have written any negative things about the president and you can be denied a visa based on that. Is it true, Kerry?
Look, they do ask for any of your social media handles, and I think that is also just to protect their country as well.
Yeah. Kerry, in closing, how important is it to be prepared, and what can you do if you're just going for just a quick visit? You'll be in the hotel visiting a few sites and so on. What do you need to have ahead of time? Do you need to make sure that your bank account is well stocked up, your documents, and you have proof of reservation at the hotel, and you have your itinerary wherever you'll be visiting?
Double, you've hit the nail on the head. Preparation is key. The government of any country wants to know, what are you coming here for? Do you have the funds to support yourself, and what are your ties to your home country? We always advise, seek guidance from a professional, but preparation is key, and timely preparation. Although it's a quick holiday, it's an expensive one, and you don't want your visa to be the thing that stops you from going on this holiday.
Kerry, I loved chatting to you. I hope we'll speak to you again in the near future. Really appreciate your time. Kerry Calver, Senior Immigration Consultant at Expat Web, 11:30. Bali Dlamini standing by to give us the latest eyewitness news headlines. Welcome. Good morning, Bali.
Thanks, Tabo. A very good morning. The bail appeal application of suspended SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Fani Nkosi has been denied. Nkosi approached the Pretoria High Court to challenge a lower court decision refusing him bail. The High Court has found that the Magistrates Court correctly considered and applied the relevant bail legislation. Nkosi faces charges including the unlawful possession of police dockets, firearms, ammunition and a stun grenade. Commander of the Hawks Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit in Durban, Gavin Jacob, has admitted to moving drugs from a crime scene to process them at a different location. In June 2021, police intercepted a shipping container at a depot in Ispingo in Durban carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine. The confiscated cocaine was later stolen from the Hawks officers just a few years later. And police in the Western Cape are investigating another deadly shooting which left 2 people dead this morning. The 2 men were shot and killed in a suspected taxi-related shooting in Masphumelele. It comes just a day after 4 people were gunned down in Hazeldean in another taxi-related shooting just yesterday. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in four ways, we've got faulty traffic lights at Cedar and Fourways Boulevard, as well as in Edenville at the N3 and Modderfontein Road. They're also out of order in Lone Hill at Lone Hill and Main Road. If you are traveling currently in the city of Tshwane, particularly on the N1 North, we've got a major accident scene reported right near Rigel Avenue. It's causing delays coming out of the Flying Saucer interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North in the Midrand area between Allendale Road and New Road, while heading towards Sunninghill. Still do expect those delays on the N1 North between Winnie Mandela Drive and Rivonia Road due to an earlier accident. Speaking of accidents, we've got another one reported on Winnie Mandela Drive right near Leslie Avenue. It's causing delays, and there's also queuing traffic on the Golden Highway. That's as you head towards El Dorado Park, approaching the N12 exit. More updates at the top of the hour. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket, and save on deals like Lancewood cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for $139.99. Surf Fruit 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre, any two for 89 Rand. And Omo Auto liquid detergent 2 litre or capsules 20 per pack, any two for 200 Rand. Valid until 7 June, only at Checkers.
Many of us take taking a deep breath for granted. But for some infants with RSV, every breath is a battle. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
Yebo, I did say that I'm not moving furniture, so the sharing space time is now. Clement is not here, but I am, and we will still do what he would have done if he were here. My name is Thabo Sholamasha. I'm thrilled to be in your company, and on the sharing space today, I will be reading out another interesting inquiry we received for the Clement Manyathela Show and team to deal with. Usually at this time, Clement reads out a concern, a question, or a paraphrased narration of a problem. And your job is to assist. I say your job guidedly there. And we request you to assist because we don't see things eye to eye. It could be that your perspective will help this person, one of our listeners who has sent through this concern. So I'm going to read it out just the way Clement received it, and I will then await your astute counsel on the matter, your wisdom, your pearls of wisdom, your clarity of thought, your sharp thoughtfulness and thinking, and generally your prowess as far as the grey matter goes, because there is no one who's as sharp as our listeners here on 702. I'm bribing you and I say that so that you should call as soon as possible on 011-883-0702. But I digress. Here we go. As I read this, the concern out. Hi, Clement and the team. Hope you are well. I'm a 23-year-old girl who has been in university in the Western Cape for the past 3 years. I'm originally from Alexandra Township in Joburg, stone throw away from our studios here. I'm completing my studies this year, and I'm so sad about returning to the township. I really hate living in the township. I did say I'll read it just the way it is, so I'm not changing anything. And she says, I really hate living in the township. And I think it isn't a conducive place to live for anyone. I dislike the small houses. I dislike the noisy neighbors who don't care about anyone else but themselves. The boys who hang around various corners. I believe the townships are mini concentration camps and were not designed to benefit any of the residents. My friends say I have a poor view of townships and that people have been able to turn themselves around and make the townships viable. I stand by my opinion that everyone should leave townships as soon as they can. Please ask your listeners what they make of my views. I hope you got that. Would you like me to go through it one more time? I hope you got that. So this is, I don't know if, This is a young lady who's 23 years old, and she is studying in the university somewhere in the Western Cape. There are a few of them, we can guess. But she says that she's originally from Alex, and she's completing her studies this year. But she's sad about returning back home to the township in Alex, and she says, as I quote, "I really hate living in the townships. I think it isn't a conducive place for anyone to live in. I dislike how small the houses are, the noisy neighbors who don't care about anyone else but themselves, the boys who hang around the corners, etc. I believe that townships are mini listeners, what they make of my views." So I'm asking you, this is not me, before you throw mud at me. This is a listener who's asking for your advice. She's going back home. She doesn't like the townships. What do you say? What do you say? What do you think of this? I mean, she was raised in the townships, right? And she must have an appreciation, even if she doesn't prefer to live in a township. But there must be a level of appreciation of being raised in the townships. There are some great moments, I am sure. And I think many people will say she's not grateful. I think it's bad for her to speak of the townships like this. I think hate is a very strong word. I don't know what you make of that. Or does she have a point? Does she have a point? Please let us know on 011-883-0702. I'd rather you call me directly and we interchange, and I assume she'd be listening right now. She didn't tell us what her name is, but I assume she'd be listening. So please do share your thoughts with us on 011-883-0702. 011-883-0702. Alternatively, maybe just drop a voice note, deposit it and run away quickly. Tell her what you think. Give her your peace of mind and run away on 072-702-1702. Or you can even text to that number that I've given you, 072-702-1702. Simpiwe Dana has got a song called Sizophume Lokishini. I often refer to that song, and that's a song of aspiration, expressing ambition of leaving the townships. And in that song, she embodies this hope that what is often known as the ghetto, the township, a place where we were forced into, and what we have made our homes of recent, we need to aspire to leave, because there is historicity that determines how we relate to each other in the townships. And the spaces, the narrow roads, the small houses were designed to produce a type of a person. And I don't know if she's being too harsh, this young lady, when she says we must all leave the townships as quickly as possible. And there are people who love the townships to bits. I mean, I wax lyrical, as you might have known, about the townships. And that's mainly because that's where I'm from, even though I have moved out, but that's where I'm from, and I'm appreciating the people more than the space. I'm appreciating the culture more than the space. I wouldn't want that to be a reality for everyone, just to be honest with you. But I don't know what you think. Let's go straight to our calls that came through on 011-883-0702. Tsepiso. No, Sibusiso first. Tsepiso, hang tight. I'll come to you. Sibu has been holding the longest. Sibusiso in Alex. Hi, welcome.
How are you, sir?
I try my best. How are you, Sibu?
I've seen better days, young man.
Yeah, thank you, Brasibu.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe the word hate you say is strong, but probably different view, especially when you're from Alex. Firstly, obviously, township not a bad place to live. It could be better at times. But also, I'm from Alex. I also understand her view. Probably she hasn't seen a positive role model that went to university because of the environment where you are. Also, remember they're living in Alex in one yard. You find it could be anything between 8 to 20 families just living in one yard.
Yeah.
And probably considering her age, I'm 56, you consider her age, she was probably born around that space or what she sees. And sometimes what you see is what you know. And, probably she's in Cape Town, she's getting exposed to certain things. So there could be, let me focus on the negative before I get into the positive. There could be, she hasn't seen one person from Alex that has gone to university, which there's a lot of them. She's probably never seen a positive role model that comes from Alex, which there's a lot of them. She probably lives in an area where you find 9 out of 10, those people are Alex. So there's no appreciation. If you go to Alex on a weekend, even during the week, you can't drive. The streets are closed. People have put buildings in the pavement, like a lot less. So it's what she knows. So what she sees, it becomes negative.
Sure.
And that is why she uses the word hate.
So we'll have to leave it at that in order to give others a chance as well. I think your point is well registered. 011-883-0702. Tsepiso in Orlando, one of my favorite townships, by the way. Welcome, Tsepiso.
How's it?
Shapuzet?
So this is also just covered, it's all about what she's experienced. And, there is a saying in Kasi where we say,
yeah.
Because we all know that, yes, we are here, but we all don't want to be here because we can see the circumstances, we can see what we go through, from simple things like complaining about maybe like your electricity, your sewaging, like this bad service and stuff. So I feel like, what she's seeing on her side is that since she went out of Alex, which is, we can say, the hood, and she's probably in res in a suburb or in a better place, she believes that for her to be able to complete the studies, it contributed a lot. So she probably also believes through her experience that it was not going to be easy for her to complete the studies. That's why she says the noise, the people who don't care. You can see that her frustrations come from what she's experienced. You'd find that for even her to complete her matric, it was hard. She just had to go an extra mile. Whereas when you're outside, now things are easier for you,
Sure.
And I can say it's just one of those things. And,
sure.
I relate to her. I also want to go out of Kasi.
Are you in Orlando East or West?
I'm on the West.
Nonetheless, Orlando is the best. Tsepiso, thanks, bro.
Orlando is good,
Orlando, but I hear everything you're saying, my brother. I don't disagree with anything else. I really don't, because really the hood can be very difficult and it can be tough, and it was designed for that. It was really, we sentimentalize it for other reasons, but the hood is no way to raise a child. It's a tough place. Thanks, Tsepiso. 15 minutes to 12.
Your friend's cell phone just got stolen. Now they're using yours to find out if it was covered outside of their home. Turns out it wasn't. Meanwhile, Suntum covers your cell phone anywhere, along with your laptop and smartwatch. Even your bicycle would be covered, if you could ride one. You insured nice, not twice. Get cover for your valuables online or call 0860 444 444 to get a quote. Suntum, this is freedom. Suntum is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer, and a controlling company for its group companies.
Take control of your equipment, your billing, and your revenue with PumaTech. Built for all sized businesses in rental, construction, scaffolding, plant hire, and mining. PumaTech gives you real-time, on-site visibility of everything. Your equipment, your materials, across sites, yards, and branches. Simplify stock control, reduce losses, and manage your billing. All in one powerful, locally built platform. PumaTech. Know where everything is.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct to give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
I promised not to move furniture. See, the sharing space is still here. And I haven't moved a single chair, not even for myself to sit down. It's exactly the way Clement left it. You'll find it in that perfect order that he left it. 011-883-0702. It's a sharing space, and we are advising this 23-year-old who is studying in the Western Cape. She has to come back home to Alex, and she says she doesn't feel the hood anymore. She dislikes the houses, the neighbors, and everything else, and how small the houses are. And she is saying that she's standing by her opinion that everyone should leave the townships as soon as they can, but her friends seem to have a different idea. And I have asked for your counsel, and feel free to share it on 072-702-1702 or call us on 011-883-0702. Letitia, you've been holding for some time. Thanks for your patience. Is it? Did I go to Letitia? Letitia?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Okay, so what I'd like to say that I came from an old neighborhood where I can relate to this lady and say that, yes, there was always noise and celebrations and drinking and performing and the kids playing in the street, and there was no control. But saying that, I moved out about some 20 years into an enclosed environment for security reasons. And now you're getting people that are moving out of a township or a neighborhood, whatever, and are creating havoc in this enclosed environment. So my advice to the university student is, if she wants to move and she needs to get out of the neighborhood, is not to go into an enclosed environment, because there seems to be unruly children there, and you just have no control. Not even the body corporates or whatever has control over these children, because they're bringing that same mentality out of the neighborhoods, out of the townships, into the enclosed environment. Yeah. They're rude, they're disrespectful, they don't care whether it's an adult that is talking to them. So my advice to the lady is, if you want to, go into an estate, go into something like a secured home or an enclosed area where you can own your own home, not into a body corporate or what, because things are getting just as bad in an enclosed environment.
Thank you so much, Letitia. Really appreciate it. Havasan, you are calling us from Pretoria. Excuse me. Havasan, welcome.
My name is Tabo.
Morning, sir.
I was just wanted to give my 2 cents. I'm saying Kasi is not as bad as people say it's bad. I think one of the that you can take from living in a township is you learn how to handle situations in life. The most of foremost, we learn discipline, living in Kasi respect. You know, that thing when they come in the taxi or when we see an old person struggling, we go and help them out there. So unity, you get unity while you stay in the township. So it's not as bad, although there are some elements that maybe we can say this and this and this. But after all, we are all in one. We are one blood. Because most of the cases, you find that the people that are going to the urban areas, suburbs areas, it takes money to do so. So my voice is, why can't we turn the country places to look like urban areas?
Sure. Havasan, really appreciate your view. Lydia in Kempton Park. Hi, Lydia.
Thank you, Tabo. Good morning.
Morning.
I was raised in Kasi, in Subuke.
Yeah.
And I was there, and as one, I want to agree with her sentiment, but also disagree that.
I lost the other part. Sorry, Lydia. I agree with the sentiment and.
and disagree partly.
Sure. Go ahead.
So I disagree partly because the fact that she's now influenced. She's been in Cape Town. Cape Town, I mean, it's a Lani place. It's a highly elite area, and she's a girl, right? So moving back to home, her experience in Alex will not be like mine. I was a girl in Sebokeng in 1982 before our liberation struggle, right? And things were orderly. I mean, they would come and check who's living there. There were no people who are not supposed to be there, and we were protected, and there was not so much crime because there was so much discipline, and we loved working in the streets. We played over the weekends outside, and it was safe. But the culture at the moment, even in Sebokeng, it has changed. When I pass Alex time and again. You go there in the main street, it is dirty. The municipality is not providing services. The waste management is zero. And you expect our girls to go in those streets.
Sure.
And life ends at 4. She must be in the house.
Sure. Very interesting, Lydia. I really appreciate your time. 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Thabo. This is Sia from Katlehong. The woman that, for the 23-year-old woman that spoke about the township not being a good place. No, she's right. And if you are saying that Kasi is a good place here then ask yourself, why is it that everyone who makes it in life, the first thing that they do is leave the Kasi? Before doing anything, they leave the township. First things first. It's that. It's because of that. And on the point that people should leave the Kasi, all of them, no, they shouldn't leave the Kasi. People should change their mentality. The Kasi, the township is not a problem. The problem is their mentality. Because if they were to change, if they were to leave and go to Sentin, what are they going to do? They're going to get to Sentin and change Sentin into a Kasi. So the Kasi is not a problem. The area is not a problem. The problem is the mentality of the people that are living there. They can turn their place into a good place if they change their mentality.
I see.
So, yeah, that's my view, Thabo.
Very interesting view.
Hi, Thabo. I agree with Anonymous. The noise. People, let's be considerate of each other. I understand if you have a party once in a while. Now, each and every weekend, the noise. But she might be surprised because even in the suburbs, the people from the township, they move to the suburbs and they make noise nonstop. I don't know. We just so inconsiderate as a society.
Hi, Thabo. I know our people are going to be better in that young lady. That's exactly how I feel myself about the townships. Once you have a chance to leave the townships, please do. It's not beneficial to anyone, and people will tell you that some people made it out of the townships. Very few people make it out of that situation. So I fully agree with her. I understand where she's coming from, and she must not feel bad about saying that because she's not alone. Many of us feel that way. It's Lerato here in Kibla Park.
Thanks very much for that. Very interesting. I don't think a lot of people are differing. I think it's one stream of this narration, and people seem to have a consensus on this one. They're saying that she is not harboring bad ideas. The townships are not that good, and given an opportunity, leave. 4 minutes to 12.
Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, really?
I want to be an astronaut.
An astronaut? Aren't you aiming a little high?
Well, that's where you come in. I need you to buy me Pediasure. It has 27 vitamins and minerals to support my growth so that I hit all the milestones, and it's scientifically proven.
Okay, Miss Clever. Where can I buy Pediasure?
It's available at pharmacies and retailers in South Africa.
Pediasure by Abbott. Approved by kids to fuel their dreams.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your clientele legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Mzansi, the excitement is building. The 130th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July takes place on Saturday, 4 July. This year's theme, Country Allure, draws from the richness of our land. A celebration of heritage, freedom and style, inspired by our beautiful countryside. It's more than a race. It's where champions are made, stories are written, and greatness is unleashed. World-class horse racing, bold fashion, music, culture, and a day of endless excitement at Hollywood Bets Greyville Racecourse. Get your tickets now at Ticket Pro and release your glamour at the Hollywood Bets Durban July, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about. With this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We are calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 rands in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
Between 12 and 1, she'll be giving you the very latest. That's a show that you don't want to miss. Afternoon, Mandy.
Good afternoon.
What's coming up on the show?
So the Madlaga Commission is hearing about how drugs were moved from a bust by high-ranking cops. We've had a few examples of this, so we'll get the latest on that. And overlapping, we'll look at why narco traffickers are using maritime routes to push drugs through the country. Very interesting report from Karen Dolly in Daily Maverick. Then Funny Nkosi has lost his bail appeal bid. Remember, he went to court to try and appeal against that decision. We'll look at why there's been such a decline, that's right, in the murder rate in South Africa, and speak to Gareth Newham about that. And then the ANC Chief Whip is briefing the media. Obviously, a lot to talk about in light of the Phala impeachment panel.
That's one show you don't want to miss, especially if you're interested in knowing the very latest in current affairs and other matters. 12 o'clock, lovely having spent time with you. Have a great one.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The bail appeal application of suspended SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Funny Nkosi has been denied. Nkosi approached the Pretoria High Court to challenge a lower court decision refusing him bail. Nkosi faces charges including the unlawful possession of police dockets, firearms, ammunition and a stun grenade. The High Court has found that the Magistrates Court correctly considered and applied the relevant bail legislation. Delivering judgment this morning, Judge Mukine Musupa also rejected Nkosi's claim that his constitutional right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty had been infringed.
I see no need to interfere with the judgment of the bail court, as the magistrate did not exercise his discretion wrongly. This appeal ought not to succeed. The order in the RAS, I make the following order. 1. The appeal against the Pretoria North Magistrate Court refusal to grant bail is hereby refused.
Commander of the Hawks' Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit in Durban, Gavin Jacob, has admitted to moving drugs from a crime scene to process them at a different location. In June 2021, police intercepted a shipping container at a depot in Ispingo in Durban carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine. The confiscated cocaine was later stolen from the Hawks office just a few years later. Jacob has been testifying in Pretoria today about regards his knowledge of the drug bust and subsequent theft. Tabiso Koba reports.
Gavin Jacobs says when they reached the Isipingo depot, they offloaded the drugs from the shipping